Hello everyone, and welcome to VYTALCast number 57, here with Thomas from Unicorn of War. That's your chance to say hello. He exists. So, what do you want to talk about first while chat is kind of coming in? I am. And the viewers are dropping in. Oh, wait, the theme song's out? Oh gosh, okay. I only heard theme song and now. And I was like, what? Because I think Volume 2, they did actually release the intro as a single way before the volume. And that just got me by every day. Yeah. Oh, dude, I forgot. I need to send you the link to the stream, don't I? Yeah, hold on. People are saying they can't hear you? I tested the audio. Hold on. Thomas, talk. Oh, yeah, that is not picking up. Why does this happen?
Alright, I'm cursed.
Time? Oh, okay, now it's picking you up. Okay, this happens every VYTALCast where OBS is like, here, we'll do your default sound, and then it just messes up. Okay. People can hear him now, right, Inspector Who?
Or is it the Vital Curse?
Yeah, it's the Vital Curse, definitely, because everyone... There's a joke saying, oh, we're so professional here on VYTALCast. Totally not a homebrew. Okay, people are saying we could hear the unicorn now, and the curse is strong with Thomas. So
I crossed a county fair witch.
Oh man, is that like an actual thing that happened? Like,
it makes for good stories.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, I would love to hear the story if that's like actually what happened.
I can make one up and pretend it's real at some point.
Okay. Have it be like a video, and then like watch it like YouTube takes it down for community guidelines or something. Like, we don't accept...
So to people who are actually cursed.
Yeah. We don't appreciate anti-community witch videos on YouTube. For whatever reason. Maybe a community witch did that. Okay, so I sent you the link so you could see the chat as well. And, oh, we have Flint of Ruby in the chat as well. Hey! Dominic.
Yay!
Yeah.
I just threw it in my community tab.
Yeah, Chosen One saying, what's up, VYTALCast friends? And Thomas, aka Unicorn of War. And Kaido Dan is saying, cast out the curses. So, okay, so you were saying you wanted the theme song out for Volume 6?
I'm super hyped. The intro is always the music is always the best part of a new volume, but especially the intro. It tells you all you need to know about a volume.
Oh, truly. I don't like analyze music a whole lot, but it definitely like gets me hyped for the episode. Especially like at the end of the first chapter when you're like, show me it. Show me the goods.
So awesome to hear in theaters.
Oh, are you going to the theater showing?
You know it.
Oh man. I am taking the sacrifice of not going to it for the sake of having a blind reaction.
God, oh good lord.
Yeah, no, like, it's gonna kill me for, like, the 48 hours where it's like, there are people who have seen the chapter, and I have not. And...
handle that, man.
Dude, it killed me during Volume 5. Like, I went out of town one of the weekends, and it was the weekend where Weiss gets impaled, you know? Oh. And so I'm away from my thing. I put, like, RWBY on the mute words on Twitter, and I go to my YouTube sub box because, you know, that's usually free of spoilers. Little did I know, because I was not subscribed to Cal till like after Volume 4, that she posted a video on the same day of like Weiss in the thumbnail with her face as she got impaled and saying like, did they kill Weiss? And I was like, son of a gun, like, and then so I'm like, they killed Weiss, and I'm like, not home to like watch the episode, and I had like a huge rant on it on Twitter. And Cal messages me privately. She's like, "Hey, you're not talking about me, are you?" I'm like, "I am." So, yeah, and people are like, Cal tends to do that. So, no shade at her, but for me, I think it's more of a courtesy to like wait a few more days to like show explicitly the spoilers on YouTube. But
Remember, for Volume 5, I waited at least half a week before I did anything on it.
Yeah, like I think that would be a good amount of time, because at the like half week notice, that was when like the free members on the Rooster Teeth site could watch it. So I think that was a decent amount of time to wait. So
mine was bad because I can't remember what exactly I made, but it was basically a shit post of Weiss getting stabbed. I don't remember what the joke was, but it was horrible.
Oh no, I remember watching it, and I remember not getting the joke. Because you made a reference to something and I had not seen it, I think. Or I remember you had her stabbed, and then like some words popped up, and I can't remember what the words were. But yeah. Oh, and
I'm going to remember the second this ends and be very angry.
You're gonna tweet it. It was da 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 da.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. So some people in the chat are saying like they're gonna try avoiding spoilers at all costs for when the theater release comes out. Some people are saying they're too broke and too lazy. I'm more on the too lazy, and also YouTube's my business, so I have to do that.
Excuse, and I can sympathize with the people who are broke, but y'all just get in your cars and go to the theaters. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Skur Wreath, on like the title, the topic of Rooster Teeth's release schedule, he's asking, do you think that Rooster Teeth is going to change some things up and make it so that the new episodes come out a week after it's made available for first members?
I don't think they've said anything about that officially, but I think that's most likely going to be their approach from everything that they said, which is really unfortunate because that's just asking for people to get spoiled.
So, if I remember correctly, because I think Gray and... Man, I forgot Carrie's name for 3 seconds. Holy cow. Carrie, Gray and Carrie, they had that video where they talked about the release schedule, sort of, and Skur, I need to know if you're talking about the YouTube release, because I think their YouTube release is the only thing we're unsure about, but they
wouldn't be on YouTube, though, this year.
Yeah, it wouldn't be on YouTube this year, but as far as, like, free members...
At least I don't... be on YouTube till after the volume is finished.
Yeah. Yeah, I think till after the episode is... the volume is finished, because didn't they start doing that with... Was it Red vs. Blue season 15?
I don't watch Red vs. Blue, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they did it with RWBY Chibi.
Yeah. Okay, so he says... Not the YouTube release. We know there's no YouTube. Yeah, I know they said it is going to be free for people on the site to watch a week after without an account, but I know it's available a few days before then if you do have a free account. So the answer is yes, it will be released. But honestly, like, if you get Verve is like the cheapest way I could think of you getting to see RWBY on time, because you get Rooster Teeth first, you get Crunchyroll, Funimation, like Nicktoons, like the old Nicktoons, and like a bunch of other stuff, and it's like $10 a month. And
Verve came with Rooster Teeth first specifically.
Yeah, and like I kind of pay for like Rooster Teeth first separately just because I didn't know how to merge the accounts, and I don't think you can merge the accounts. And I like using the Rooster Teeth site for the live watching, because that's the only thing you won't get through Verve is like the live streams for the podcast. So that's why I chose to do those separate. But It's like $35 a year for the first membership, which I don't think is too much money, honestly.
It's reasonable to me.
Yeah, because you're also getting 5% off on the store, and then like you get access to like exclusive shows. It's cheaper than Netflix and Verve, but yeah. Person just put a whole bunch of eggplants up. Is that his hype emoji for Volume 6?
It's just kind of his thing, and he frightens me, but we're just gonna let him be him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Skur Reeve is saying, well, I have Crunchyroll. Yeah, I had Crunchyroll before I moved on to Verve, so what I did was I canceled Crunchyroll, and then I switched on to Verve, because Verve is just $3 more than the Crunchyroll Premium monthly. Inspector Who is saying, yeah, the YouTube release will probably be a year from now. Or, like, after the volume. So. Okay. Person's now calling eggplants watermelons. I am so sorry. They're watermelons.
I don't know.
Are you familiar with this person?
Sorry, person, but the only place I remember you from is from previous live streams where you also did this.
Okay. Okay.
How dare you compare my precious fruit with O's? To that disgrace.
Yeah. Okay, so Skurreath seems to have another question for us. He says, okay, so we know that there's supposed to be a time skip for the beginning of Volume 6. I want this time skip to be like 2 weeks, and I want some kind of mention of Ruby's ship crashed. I think the premiere is going to be them getting on the ship, if anything. I don't think it's going to be crashing yet. What do you think, Thomas?
We'll see. I've heard descriptions of yawn clips from Comic-Con, and I don't exactly want to share them for people who are avoiding spoilers.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I'm like, I have not heard of anything from the thing other than they saw parts of the first episode, or parts of the second episode.
They did things.
Ugh, they did things. Let's see. Kaido Dan is also saying, my concern with spoilers is people lost their mind over one detail shown at the New York City Comic-Con preview. If there's another instance like that with the full episode, we're in trouble.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
Oh boy. No. Oh boy.
Apocalypse is all I will say.
Yeah. Dominic Frere, Frere? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with pronunciation with words I'm not too familiar with. But my day's doing really well. Thank you for asking. Okay, so, speaking of questions. Dana K, you read my mind. I was just about to ask. Okay, so Thomas, she was asking, any tips for writing people of color? That wasn't my question, but that's her question.
Well, let's see. If you want to write diverse stories, I would say don't worry about hitting diversity quotas. Don't go off of stereotypes that you do these people. Remember that they are people first, just like us. They have goals and dreams and character flaws and all that stuff. They're just normal people.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely do not follow stereotypes. But also, maybe talk to some people that are of the ethnicity that you're writing a character off of, or maybe some tips if you do want to include, like, culture references. Like, if you're going to write a Latino person, then talk to some Latino people who are in touch with their culture to be like, hey, like, what's something small I can include with this character's background to make them seem more authentic? So...
that too. That definitely helps.
Yeah, and I think... was it Cal? No. Yeah, no, I was with Cal, and she and I talked about this at RTX. During the RWBY panel, they mentioned they had sensitivity readers for RWBY. Or, like, people that would, like, double-check on things. Because I remember they said some members of RWBY said not to make Weiss's pilot gay, because they were going to kill the pilot off. And they're like, you don't want to bury your gays? Like, that's a very bad trope.
It's not just that. I married the first gay in 5 years after promising a gay for 5 years.
Yeah, it was also like, hey, we've been waiting a long time for one. You immediately show one, and they immediately die. Like, that's not a good thing to do. Like,
Episode, a powerful woman of color dies.
Yeah. So luckily they saved that for Ilya. Bless that child. Like,
I love Ilya so much.
Dude, I went through a roller coaster of emotions with Ilya. Like, I went from, like, I want to like you, but you're making it hard, to I hate you, but I really want to like you, to now it's like, save this child. I love her. Platonically.
The main character.
Yeah. She is now an honorary member of Team RWBY. I just knighted her with my hands. Let's see. Dominic is asking, Portal, do you think Adam will go to Atlas? Yes. In short, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he wants to be relevant, yes.
Yeah. No, we're gonna see him just, like, in Vacuo on a beach, just enjoying vacation, not being a villain.
Attacking people who are also at the beach, yelling about his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, he's like, this is my beach! Just like Blake was supposed to be my girl! And he's wearing...
my character falling apart!
Yeah, he's wearing sunglasses to cover where the mask used to be. He's just... to tease
designed people. After the mask.
Yeah, it's like the same shape and everything. Also, Kaido Dan put up a good tip for the people of color thing. He said, don't let diversity be their only trait. And then Cross Zero said, do what Voltron did with Shiro. Because, like, Shiro, they totally developed as, like, a person, and then they just recently revealed, oh yeah, by the way, he's a gay man. I mean, so it's not like... You have mixed feelings on that?
Well, it's not him, it's his boyfriend.
Yeah, so I'm not totally caught up with Voltron, but I heard the mess, and we talked about on VYTALCast. We talked about on VYTALCast as well, because I have a lot of other friends that I heard he dies like 30 seconds after he's shown in season.
If we're fine with a certain level of spoilers, because I would need to spoil it to explain the problem.
Oh boy, because I know, like, at San Diego Comic-Con, they said, like, oh, we're gonna learn more about Adam and see him interact with Shiro, and, like, none of that happened. And so there was, like, the big debate on, like, whether it was queer baiting or not, and what I kind of discerned was the show, like, if you focused only on the show, the answer is no. But if you include what they all talked about at San Diego, yes.
Yeah, because if you only watch the show, you would not know.
Yeah, and that's...
Which makes sense because that wasn't a thing. DreamWorks had to fight tooth and nail for that to happen, which kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, and, like, I just feel bad, or like, I feel bad that it happened and that, like, people got their hopes up because of how the cast, like, advertised it and promoted it. And I feel a little disappointed in Bex specifically, because to me, it seemed like she was one of the people really kind of, hyping people up about Adam and LGBT, forgetting words. Not exposure.
Very difficult.
I have this anxiety thing where I forget stuff. She helped promote it, and then when people started backlashing about it, she was like, "This is a show about war." Yeah, like how she did a poor job on damage control. She did a poor job on damage control, I think, but it was like,
I feel like she really had good intentions. It's just she didn't think through the implications of.
Sorry, I think your mic cut off right when you finished your sentence.
Evil. Okay, so, like, she had good intentions, but she didn't think through all the implications of what this decision meant with the story they already had.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I'm gonna talk from, like, a bit of an actor's perspective. Like, if a production doesn't want spoilers coming out or leaks coming out about the show, they'll only give actors their parts explicitly. so no one knows what else is happening in the show unless it's like scenes their character are in or the dialogue their character says. So it could be possible that she thought that there was going to be more, but didn't have the full picture.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, now I just feel bad for her.
Yeah. Yeah, because I talked a lot to Joe Hernandez, who is the voice actor of Daruk from Breath of the Wild. He and I are buddies now, apparently. But he said a lot of the time, like, he only gets, like, his lines, and he doesn't know anything else. Especially with Breath of the Wild, they were, like, super hush on stuff, and he didn't even know that he was, like, auditioning for Breath of the Wild. He thought he was auditioning for Fire Emblem. And then once he read the dialogue saying Hyrule, he was like, "This is The Legend of Zelda? I'm in Legend of Zelda?" So, yeah, sometimes productions are very hush on it. And
understandably so.
Yeah, so the chat's going crazy about Voltron. Mimicry, I want to say, is, or, yeah. Okay, they say...
Mimicry? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to, like, butcher words. They say, "I refuse to watch Voltron because of that whole thing. If you're trying to make any type of character, market them appropriately." And I think they did Shiro. I mean, like, if they had Shiro talk about it more, I think it'd be fine. Or, like, but I also don't want them to, like, give Shiro a love interest just for the sake of giving him a love interest. You know? Like...
Yeah.
I feel like... I don't know. What are your thoughts from a writer's perspective about people just randomly throwing in, like, love interests to give everyone, like, their happy couple ending?
The thing, like, a lot of writers feel like romance is obligatory. They don't really think through what a healthy relationship looks like. They don't think about how it affects the characters and how they develop and how they grow. And that's why a lot of these romances feel just so... like they do not belong.
And manufactured.
Yeah, they feel manufactured. They have the chemistry of, like, stale bread.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess, like, I don't know, like, I've been noticing a lot with, like, anime recently with, like, Darling in the Franxx, for example. Just, like, at the very end was like, oh, by the way, all these characters that interacted with each other, they're now married and have children, despite, like, never showing romantic interest, save for a few. And, like, I think one character, I forget her name, but she was the lesbian character, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's this character you haven't seen from the first episode, is now, like, their partner. So it's like, some people complained about that, which I could understand why, because it's like, oh, here we have this diverse character, but we're not gonna give any time to really dive into it, and then we're gonna randomly give them a person to make them fit everyone else with the happy couple ending.
Yeah, it's having it for the sake of getting brownie points and then doing absolutely nothing with it and trying to hide it as much as you can.
Yeah. I think the only, like, at least with live action shows, I think one of the best portrayals for LGBTQ representation, that's the word I was trying to think of earlier, representation, is back in Buffy the Vampire Slayer with... I forgot her name. She's one of the main characters, the witch. Maybe she's the one that cursed you and cursed my brain.
We will find her.
I'm Googling her. Her name's on the tip of my tongue. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, from the 90s is better at doing that.
Yeah, Willow. Willow. Oh, man. I wanted to say Mellow.
I've heard amazing things about Willow.
Yeah, okay, so Willow. First three seasons, has a boyfriend, breaks up with him in season 4. Then, like, halfway through season 4, you kind of see her interacting with this girl, and then they just kind of start dating, and then they're in a nice, lovely, healthy relationship for the next 2 seasons. And this was, early 2000s, like, one of the first times they had openly shown like a gay couple on television, and they did a really good job having that be like an actual relationship and not just like, you know, manufactured stuff. Joss Whedon, he's really great with characters he creates, but I feel like once he starts writing someone else's characters, it falls flat. But the
fact that they managed to do it better in a time where it was less accepted than the now times.
Yeah, if you're looking for LGBTQ representation, I definitely think Willow and now I forgot her girlfriend's name. Oh man, and they don't have hard names to remember. Yeah, well, her name's Girlfriend, and they're both witches. It's amazing. Like, like I loved it so much, and the Buffy the Vampire Slayer just has like a way of toying with your heart as well. Tara is the girlfriend. There we go. And I don't know, like, people, if you want to check out an old cheesy show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, although it still has like some of the best writing I've seen in television. So anyway,
I remember the first couple episodes and loving it, but I never got around to finishing it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think season 1 of Buffy took me like a year to get through. I was very off and on with it, and then season 2 brought on like one of the best villains ever, and I honestly just want to like send letters to Miles and Carrie being like, hey, if you want like ideas on how to make Adam really great, look at what they did with Angel in season 2, because oh my gosh, like, Angel is what Adam should be. Like, that's all I'm gonna
Maybe
say.
every writer should just be required by law to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer before they get their license to write.
Yeah, or even like Firefly too, because like Firefly was very open with I'm forgetting names. Why? I had her name memorized earlier. They have a lady who is a prostitute, but they don't call it. They call it companions. They call them companions, and she is openly bi in the show, or I think maybe even pan. Yeah, she's bi or pan, but they're very open with it, and I honestly think that Fox canceled it. Oh yeah, it was on Fox too, which is even more ironic because they're super conservative there.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that is weird. A lot of their programming doesn't seem like it would fit with them.
Yeah, well, that's why it lasted 14 episodes. It was a little,
dear.
Yeah, it was, and they aired the episodes out of order too. So like,
Guys,
Firefly didn't die; it was murdered. So. Dana is saying to you, she said, I would so watch a series of you reviewing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That'd be awesome. So
at some point, I'm just gonna sit through and do like a review marathon of it.
yeah, oh, it's so good. And
I don't know when, but it will happen.
Also, the Kaido Dan is saying like he will always remember the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's like the best musical episode I've seen in any show that's done a musical episode. Because they actually explain why it's a musical, and the music's amazing, and just everything. Speaking of writing in shows, and this being a RWBY podcast, another VYTALCast curse is like we're supposed to be talking about RWBY, and we get off topic talking about other shows that we like to see RWBY take inspiration from. How did you get into RWBY and talking about its writing?
I did not know about Rooster Teeth until I started watching RWBY. I got into it the sophomore year of high school. I don't remember what year exactly that was because I suck at years and memory.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
it was
what
right
year?
before Volume 2 came out.
Oh, okay.
So my friend told me about... My friend sent me a message like, hey, there's this really weird anime-esque show that's kind of a hot mess, but it's fun. And I'm like, ooh. So I binged all of Volume 1. I fell in love with it. And then I waited for Volume 2. And I've kind of been stuck with this show ever since, and it's ruined my life.
That sounds about my story, too. RWBY came out during, like, my senior year of high school, and I just happened to be going to a new school for my senior year. And so I was very able to like connect and relate to Ruby, to being the new kid at school and kind of trying to fit in that way.
In Volume 1.
Yeah, with Volume 1 Ruby. Ruby Volume 5 is hard to relate to. I feel like the longer the show has gone, the less relatable she has become. And I think...
Because she hasn't changed at all.
She really hasn't, and there honestly hasn't been like a whole lot in the show of her. Like, she's been getting significantly less and less screen time, at least screen time that's dedicated to her in the last 2 volumes. And then there's also just like...
the main characters, really. Because they're all... Like, their stories are so disjointed that, like, 3 of them didn't even know about the main plot until 5 years into the show.
You're not wrong. Like, I'm now just, like, thinking, like, how did I not think of that? Like, it should be obvious, but I didn't notice.
It's like, Weiss is struggling with her family, but she's never heard Salem's name.
No.
Does she know who Cinder is?
No, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like one of the things I'm looking forward to with RWBY Volume 6, though, is they'll now be on the same page with what's going on now that they're all back together. And hopefully we'll get some, like, team interactions again. Because that was, like, something I really loved in the first 3 volumes, was seeing them bicker with each other and, like, do teamwork. And it's like, hey, can we get back to that? We're RWBY, not RWBY.
But with a plot.
Yeah, this is RWBY, not RWBY. They're supposed to be together, not separate. But there's, I don't know, like, I want RWBY to do well, and like from the beginning, you're always like, oh yeah, this is a passion project, and you kind of like excused any of the issues it had, whether it was like animation quality or writing and voice acting. You're like, oh, don't worry, it's just a passion project. But now it's like a huge professional production.
It's gotten to a point where we can't dismiss those things anymore.
Yeah, which for me, that's kind of weird, because it just grew so fast, and now, like, because the show's changed so much, so has the fandom. And yeah, so what got you into starting, like, writing, like, doing the video essays on, like, the writing critique?
Let's see, towards the end of my senior year, I started writing my book. And around, like, right before I started my channel, I was like, okay, the book is pretty much done. More rounds of editing. I need to find a way to market it and myself to get people to actually give a shit. I'm good at ripping things apart and complaining. People think I'm funny. I don't know why, but they do. I'm obsessed with this fucking show. Let's do some videos on it.
That's a good...
And that's how it happened.
Yeah, what do you think of, like, because I don't know if you were one of the first people or you just kind of happened to, like, pop up around the same time as the other RWBY critics, but like, what do you think of that?
I'm pretty sure Fatman and Celtic and the others were around, like, way before I was. I think they started showing up more around, like, the time of Volume 3.
Yeah, I know...
Like, around Volume 4, more critics started popping up.
Yeah, I know, like, Jackman One Band and Muffin Man Dan. Wait, did I say Dan One Man Band? Or Jack... I said Jack One Man Band, right?
No, you got it right.
Okay, it's just they rhymed, and then I panicked. Like, oh no, did I say the same thing twice? Like, I know they've been around for quite a while, but they didn't always do the criticisms. Jack One Man Band did reviews, and then Muffin Man Dan, I think, just kind of did, like, theories and eventually tried to do reactions. I don't know if they still do. But, like, Fat Man and what is it? The viewer, what is it? Vexed Viewer, Vexed Viewer. I'm like, gosh, names, why? Those two, I don't remember hearing their names until just recently, actually, or in the last year, is what I mean by recently. So...
Vexed is, I'm pretty sure, relatively new.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was around before I was, But Fat Man has been around for quite a while.
Okay, yeah. So, what do you think kind of makes your videos unique compared to like the other criticism videos, and like what is your process to like picking what to like pick apart and how you're going to structure that into a video?
The interesting thing about that is before I started, I watched a lot of their videos and I always thought that they made some good points, but there were times where I felt like they were nitpicking just to have something to argue about, or that I thought they were really harsh and vehement towards the creators. And I was like, okay, what they're saying does have merit. Let's try to find a way to package it in a way that's more palatable to most people. So that kind of led me to becoming sort of a middle ground between really diehard fans and like the more critics, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually like why I like you compared to the others. Like, I don't watch the others or even subscribe to the others. Like, I've seen a few of their videos, but it wasn't like, oh, I enjoyed this content, therefore I'm gonna subscribe. Whereas with you, it was like, oh, I understand what you're talking about, where you're coming from, and I feel like, personally for me, I feel like you don't cross like the line of going too far, if there is such a line, you know? And
yeah, like the line between the creator and the creation.
yeah, and like it was funny because like literally right next in the the list of questions I had was, where do you think the line of criticism lies? And you kind of brought it up with like going towards the creators, but I want do you want to expand on that?
My opinion on that has changed over time because I usually subscribe to the quote by, I think it was FDR. I always mess up the Roosevelts, like mix them up. But it was like the man in the arena quote, like, it's not the critic who counts, it's the man in the arena whose face is marred by dirt and sweat and blood. If you're not in the arena being creative and being vulnerable, risking everything, and you're just the critic who takes cheap shots from the arena, your voice does not count or should not count. And I used to really love perspective, especially as a creative myself and a writer, because I know what it's like to have this thing you worked on torn apart and be personally attacked as well.
Yeah.
As I've done more critiques and stuff, and thought about that quote more, that is more for a personal level for the creator than just omitting all criticism for what you create. So, a critique on a piece of writing that you did. And the critic is not only tearing apart the writing, but he's also attacking you as a person. That is the line.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Should never cross. Like, unless it's like something like completely morally abhorrent, then
yeah,
certain fanfics of certain ships.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we don't talk about that
Those
ship.
Things, the dark side.
The dark side of the Force. Yeah. There's also like one ship I've openly talked against in VYTALCast or like other reaction videos or on Twitter, and that was Adam and Blake. Like, I don't ship abusive relationships, and I definitely do not ship incest. And being in a fandom like Supernatural, which is up here, it was not in its original spot, so many people shipped Wincest, and it was like, guys, they're brothers. And like, even the show, like, I love how they break the meta and they like talk about the fans sometimes in show, and they're like, they know we're brothers, right? And it's just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's like
we say incest is not Wincest. It's lose.
And it's just like, guys, we know sometimes shipping is just for fun or just for like the aesthetic looks, but there should be a line we do not cross. But and I accidentally sort of crossed a line during my panel because people were like, "Oh, what's your like favorite like joke ship?" And I had to like give context of where it came from and try to like explain, "Oh, no, this is more of like a platonic ship, not like a romance ship." But people still went there, you know, when I said it, and I was like, guys, no. They're like, it's your fault. I'm like, it's your fault for going there when I said not to. But, you know, sometimes people see Do Not Trespass, and they're like, huh, wonder what's there to see, you know? And they do the thing.
Didn't do the thing.
Yeah. Kaido Dan in the chat is saying, the shipping side can be great fun and full of creativity, but sometimes there's a few who try to pee in the pool. Yeah.
Why is that so true?
Yeah, and it's one of those pools like from Grown Ups where like the chemicals turn blue when someone does. Anyway. Yeah, and the Chosen One saying Supernatural is a good show, not the greatest, but good in their own right. I definitely think the quality of Supernatural as a whole would be a lot better if it stopped at the end of season 5. Or
someone else who agrees.
Yeah. It's like
I just pretend season 6 and on don't exist.
I'm still watching it. I still need to finish or start season 13, and season 14 just started, I think. There's been a few seasons. Yeah, there were.
I tried watching.
Dude, season 6,
and I could tell immediately.
So season 6, funnily enough, season 6 they were actually trying to kill Supernatural, and they just kind of like bombed it on purpose. Yeah, they bombed season 6 on purpose to try to get it canceled because they're like, no, this show needs to die. But the fandom was just so persistent and passionate. They're like, okay, season 7 we're actually gonna care, and season 7 was pretty good. But like with the earlier seasons of Supernatural, it was very hard to pick like your favorite episode in that season, and now it's just too easy because it's like, you know, you get 6 really good episodes in the season, and all the other episodes are, like, skippable, which is really, really tragic to say on a show that I stuck with for so long.
I will say, though, I loved Scooby Natural. Also, hi, Jillian.
Oh, I need to watch that. Also, hi, person. I like your duck. And also, I noticed Luke Skywalker the second, and I love your thing. Like, the whole Star Wars thing. Okay, Jillian has a good point. I said, I will say if Supernatural had ended, we'd never have Scooby Natural.
Can we end Supernatural and make Scooby Natural like a yearly thing?
Oh yeah, I am totally with that. And honestly, also, can you believe like they've renewed it for season 14 when like 13 would have been a really good number to stop Supernatural on, because 13's like, you know, spooky and bad luck.
Makes money.
Yeah, I know. Well, it doesn't even have, like, super great ratings anymore, but because the president of the CW loves the show, he keeps renewing it despite all of that, and I'm just like... Even the fandom is like, if it ends, we wouldn't be mad, you know, but we'll keep watching if it's still coming out, like...
Basically, it's become his fan fiction.
Yes, like... Supernatural used to be a fan fiction of the Bible. Now it's just a fan fiction of itself, and it's sad.
All an allegory for existential dread.
Yeah, it's like, did Chuck fall asleep? Where's Chuck? Oh yeah, he came back. But Spectre, who said, I think 14 is the end. Yeah, we thought that was season 10, we thought that was season 11, and we thought that was 12, and we're on 14 now. 5. Yeah, we thought that was 5 especially. I mean, season 5's finale was called Swan Song. That's what you call the last thing. Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah. Okay, Luke Skywalker the second has a comment for us. He says, how do you guys think that many frustrating unanswered questions in RWBY right now should be answered, like for example flashbacks or direct exposition?
Exposition, please.
You want exposition?
No more.
No more? Yeah, I was gonna say please show, don't tell, so I'd rather take a flashback or like my idea for like explaining unanswered things, especially with like lore, or character backgrounds is bring back the world of Remnant, but don't do it the way you've been doing it. Like, get rid of all the telling, not showing that you did with the world of Remnant, and make them just
like
one-off shorts. Yes. And I was like, I would have
like
loved...
mini-sodes.
Yes, mini-sodes where you focus on either a character that's only within that episode to help explore, like, I don't know, Vacuo or something, to help explain the culture, let us see it, and then, like, when the characters actually go to Vacuo, we know about it and have, like, an emotional tie to it because we saw some sort of story unfold within it, or, like,
Or show a plot of a volume.
Yeah, and even to, like, just so we can... Yeah, and, like, the villain episode in Season 3 is also, like, a perfect example of, like, a character short type of World of Remnant video. Like, I just think it would be better to do them in story form, because then we're seeing, not being told, and we have, like, an emotional tie-in to what we're learning and seeing, rather than being like, alright, Professor Crow.
The episode where Cinder murdered Laura Bailey.
Yeah. One of my favorite voice actresses. So short-lived in one of my favorite shows.
She got 2 lines.
Being one of them.
Pretty sure one of them was her screaming.
Yeah, just the scream. Oh gosh, that scream. That episode was on a whole other level. Like,
show was all like fun and joy, and then 6 happened and we started crying, and then 7 happened and we're like, oh no, they're all going to die.
Yeah, and then episode 8, Penny dies, and we're like, no.
8 was set up for 9.
Yeah,
the entire fall of Beacon traumatized the internet.
Some people even videoed themselves being traumatized and put it up for everyone else to enjoy.
Watched a lot of those to satisfy my own joy.
Yeah, I might have been one of them back then, but yeah. Okay, Skur Wraith has a comment for me. You say, but David, you're forgetting that it's cheaper to animate characters sitting down delivering exposition than showing the audience stuff. Not an excuse, but it's true.
Volume 5 budget went into the shorts.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Shorts that didn't tell us anything new. Or that could have been done in the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the Blake short, I would say, didn't have that much of a budget compared to the other shorts, because not a whole lot happened in Blake's short other than showing people run, and then showing people sitting down being told something. So,
I mean, really, it was the Iliad short, and we could have had that in actual Volume 5.
Yeah, for sure. But I loved
Blake did explain her past.
Yeah. I did like the Weiss and Yang shorts, though, just for, like, entertainment purposes, but, please.
One I'm not really a fan of. The Weiss one I like aesthetically, but it has no reason to exist.
I agree with that.
Didn't tell us any...
Yeah,
the action in that one was amazing, and the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what I loved. It was, like, the action and being like, yes, this is the action that I know and love RWBY for, and it was kind of like...
Expect this in the Maya engine in Volumes 4 and 5... Oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean, at least we're starting to see it come back a little bit more often. It's like, okay, we just need consistency. Give us this consistently. Don't, cheap us out. Yeah. I hate to be like the positive looking one, being like, okay guys, we know they can do it. They'll do it. They won't let us down this time.
Feet to the fire and make them do it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I would hate to hold fire to their feet. I know some of the people on the animation team. It's like, guys, I love you. I know it's not your fault, but please put
They're really trying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Miles and Carrie are the ones whose feet we need to hold to the coals.
Yeah, no, it is them for sure, and I think
the joke about sitting in a house for all of Volume 5, so there's hope.
Yeah, they set a house on fire for Volume 5. That is true. And I think after Volume 4, Carrie and Miles did admit that they storyboarded some of the action scenes themselves and strictly held the animators to that. And we're like, boys, That's not your specialty.
That
Let
hurt
the
me actually
animators
so
do
bad.
that. Yeah. It's like,
The
let
issues in, like, flow and teleportation, and oh god.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I think
Meanwhile, Kim Newman made the gunchuck scene in True Colors in like a week.
bless her. And dude, her cosplay is really great as well. And she's a nice person. I've
Her
talked to her.
cosplays.
Yeah.
I need to see her cosplays.
Okay, I think she only cosplays at RTX. I have yet to see her do any cosplay related stuff outside of that. But she did a steampunk Puro 1 year, and then she,
Sounds awesome.
I forget what she did this like 2018 RTX, but she did do something. And then Geo, who is one of the like motion capture people, she did 2B from Nier, and that was a really good cosplay as well. But I think animation.
So I'm gonna hunt later.
What?
I couldn't find any of it, so I'm gonna hunt for it again later.
Yeah. Look on their Twitter, or better yet, go onto their Instagram and just like scroll down.
Does
there.
she have an Does she have an Instagram, or would it be on the Rooster Teeth one?
No, it would not be on the Rooster Teeth one. For I know Kim has Instagram. I'm not entirely sure about Geo, but Geo does post onto her Twitter. I think they both post on their Twitter. So good luck scrolling for however long you need to.
Steampunk Pura. I needed it in my life.
Yeah, it was very good. Okay, so Sly Oblivion saying he came here for you. That's nice.
I would hug you, but you're an internet away.
Both of you show up to RTX, and maybe you could do it in person.
Unsure.
Yeah, unsure. Yeah.
I don't. Maybe I'll dress as an actual Unicorn of War. Who knows?
Oh my gosh, that would be pretty cool. Like
Star Wars of the Forces of Evil.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that show, but I heard it's good.
Man. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, but I don't think I have a legal way of watching it without TV.
Issue.
I don't think Disney XD does like their shows online for free, at least.
Which is unfortunate and stupid. They would make so much money.
Yeah, I know. Like, there's so many shows I would love to watch, but because they're not on Netflix, I never see them. So, and some people say, get Hulu, and the answer is, I technically have Hulu, but I don't have access to it, because it's my sister's, and she won't share the password. She'll share the password with Mom, but not with me. But
she's dumb.
Yeah, no, she has to borrow my car last night because her headlights were out, but her headlights were working, and it's like, no, you're not borrowing my car.
Karma for not giving me Hulu.
Yes, karma, pun, car, and then ma. Okay, I don't know if you.
Barb.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you did it on purpose, and I was like, hey, I caught that reference.
I didn't realize I sinned.
Yeah. Kaido Dan's not is joining me in the fighting the siblings for online streaming services. Said he had plead his brother for the Netflix. Okay, so wait. Victoria says she was worried about clicking a mystery link, but this is a nice surprise. Did you post on like a Discord or something without explaining what you were doing?
It in the community tab, but that's weird. Shouldn't it have thrown up like a thumbnail or something?
Maybe. I don't have a community tab for my channel. Like, I guess YouTube's like, you're not big enough to get one yet, which is why everyone should subscribe so I could eventually get a community tab.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Also, like, can I say, like...
I totally wasn't given Kool-Aid and asked to join a cult.
Dude, you could ask Cal, but, like, I legit, like, was really excited when he followed me on Twitter. Because she was with me when it happened. We were walking to the Rooster Teeth animation panel at RTX. And
start screaming.
Yeah, I just get, like, a notification. Like, I had very terrible service on my phone. And I just get this, like, little notification. Thomas followed you. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then I felt really embarrassed that I, for some reason, wasn't following you on Twitter. I was subscribed on YouTube, but not on Twitter. I was like, oh, oops, follow back. Hi, senpai. Oh yeah, didn't give a thumbnail.
I would have annihilated you if you didn't follow me back.
Yeah, it's like, this guy's a veteran in war. I don't want to upset him. And he's a unicorn, which is definitely not someone you want to piss off. So the community tab does not post up a thumbnail when you post a link. So thank you, anyone that came from that to here.
For trusting me to not lead you into the dark web.
Yeah. He was definitely not stealing any information from you.
Selling it to big mega corporations. What are you talking about?
Oh, true. Yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod.
Oh, I wish I got that money.
Oh, yeah. YouTube, please. Yeah. Mimicry is saying Thomas is all the senpai with all these angel emojis.
I'm a fucking mess. You really shouldn't look up to me.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Someone mentioned... Oh, okay. Luke Skywalker the second mentioned Lord of the Rings. He said, do you guys think perhaps if RWBY's world building is handled well in Volume 6 and future volumes, that RWBY's world could be massive with lore and have a grand timeline like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones?
I don't think so, and I don't think I would want it to go that route.
I personally have been saying I think RWBY is at the point where it has a little bit too much on its plate to handle right now. And I think right now they need to focus on taking one bite at a time to, like, make things manageable.
They want to make it this epic story, but they can't even handle characters doing things.
Yeah, they need to, like, handle what they got first before they could even think about expanding this whole world and history. Like, they got...
And Carrie, there's this thing called a story with a protagonist and an antagonist and a goal.
Yeah, the salt is real. Like,
I love that so much, but it needs to be said.
I'm just having this tea and I'm just pouring salt into it instead of sugar. I'm like, the tea is sweet today, not really salty.
God bless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely need to handle what they got first before they do that. I would love to see it happen, but not right now. Like, if anything...
Built up Mistral as this epic place of, like, bossing, say, but vertical, and then we saw, like, two matte paintings of it.
Yeah, if anything, they should finish RWBY, and then if they still want to, like, make money off of RWBY, then start making series that are in the world of RWBY and kind of do it that way. But otherwise, just focus on what you got right now.
Too late. It's too late, man. Just keep going.
Yeah. You know, oh, actually, the manga and comic book series, that might be a way, because they're not being made by Miles and Carey, but they are RWBY.
Team Coffee novel where they go to Shade Academy, where the book cover doesn't look like any other book cover.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I totally
that book cover.
I totally should have put that in the tags, like RWBY DC comic series. What do you Dude, I have to say DC Comics has been like nailing it with, like, narrative and storytelling. At least from what I've been reading from them. But
because I don't follow comics as much, but I just need more RWBY in my life. I just need to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, it, like, one of my, like, 2016 or 2017, like, New Year's resolutions was to, like, try to get more into, like, American comic books. And I got, like, some of DC, got some of Marvel. Like, I love Marvel, like, I love the characters, but DC definitely beats them with storytelling a lot of the time. Like, just with nailing structure and everything. I love the stories in Marvel, but sometimes it's like they're a little wonky or really out there sometimes. They're like great for entertainment, but quality doesn't always match up to DC, if that makes sense.
Well, because I know with Marvel, they're a lot more, they're willing to make fun of themselves more. They're like stories about people with great powers whereas DC, it's literal gods trying to pass as humans.
Yeah, and then there's like Batman, who is like somehow in the middle, like, I'm a man, but I might as well be a god.
The man does not smile.
No, he doesn't.
He talks like he has a sore throat all the time. He dresses as an emo, angsty bat. He looks like he just came out of a Hot Topic. He needs to calm down, all right? He has money.
For a guy who has no parents, he sure lets them control his life a lot.
Every orphan becoming a man is a bat, beating people up in an alleyway.
Yeah, they had a great comic series with Batman that came out, I think this year or last year, but it was called Batman White Knight, and it was like, what if the Joker became sane, and then like basically took Batman apart politically, and like was revealing like Batman does more bad than good, and like how a lot of the thugs he beats up are like lower class citizens who are just trying to get by in this cruel world, and like how because he tears down like neighborhoods and stuff, fighting all these villains, the rich people buy and renovate the buildings and then sell them for a higher price. So if anything, it's benefiting the rich and like doing damage to the poor, making like cost of living.
Batman is at fault for gentrification.
Yeah. So it's like, man, the Joker kind of has a point. And then Gotham elects him as mayor. So, yeah, like it.
I mean, like, it's all, but at least he'll be honest about killing us all.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind he was turned sane and like kind of repented of like all the things he did as the Joker. He's like, oh, I'm not the Joker anymore. I'm Jack. And it's an interesting series. Yeah. I can link you to like a YouTube series that like explains each volume of that one, but it was really good. Luke Skywalker II is saying he loves White Knight. It's quite good. So yeah, it's definitely like DC's one-offs, very good narrative-wise, and that's why I'm excited for RWBY to be with that, because DC Comics is great. I mean, it's going to be comics in color, you know, versus like manga, which is black and white. So like RWBY in color.
Good.
RWBY in color, plus really great writing. And I'm just...
Equals fun time.
Yeah, really fun times. And I still need to catch up on
They're gonna try to tell an original story, like a spin-off, or if they're going to retell the actual story.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do, because I think with the manga, they're doing it like between volumes 1 and 2, or between 2 and 3. And so
they're adapting 1 and 2.
Okay. I heard, because the one I have, which is like the anthology one, or like the one to kind of like build up hype for the other manga volumes, is kind of like in between.
These are like, the anthologies are like in between, or side stories, and then the actual mangas are going to be adaptations.
Okay, and right now they're just coming out with the anthologies, right? The ones that have like RWBY, Weiss, and Blake on covers.
It's already out. Blake's comes out in November, and then Yang's is weirdly just titled Burn, not I Burn, which is weird.
I mean, I'm sure once it comes out, we'll figure out the purpose of that. But yeah, I still need to buy those and read those for myself. And if anyone wants to like donate to the Streamlabs so I can do that, that's appreciated. I've also just been
I'll hard the man. Get your wallets out.
Yeah, it's like I'm not trying to beg or anything. I'm just saying it would really help out if you want me to read them sooner rather than later, so I can make a video on them.
What's the AdSense?
Yeah, I don't earn enough through AdSense, please. So I'm looking at some of the comics. Okay, so Skirt Wright is saying it's become increasingly obvious that Miles is trying to build up to White Knight being canon. Oh yeah, I've seen hints of that as well with Volume 5, with him.
I find the ship cute, but like canonically, I don't like. I find it cute in its own contained AU, where 1, Jean is well written, and 2, they can be really cute with Jean's family because Weiss's family is horrible.
That was a good last point. I didn't think of that. Yeah,
because Jean has this huge family that's like super warm and loving, and Weiss could use that.
that we know of. I kind of have a theory that he gets along great with his siblings, but his parents not so much. because we haven't really heard a
Any of
whole
their
lot.
names.
Yeah, we haven't heard a whole lot about his parents. We haven't heard any of his siblings' names, but we have heard like things that like resemble good memories of his sisters, because he talked about like how he wore dresses with them and like learned how to dance from them, and like I think he mentioned them braiding his hair or them teaching him how to braid hair.
Warrior's Wolf Tail, which is a reference to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, with Sokka. Yeah. Oh man.
Isn't that just a ponytail?
Oh man.
If they live in Atlas, I'm going to be so angry because my rewrites revolve around them living in Vale.
Yeah, no, Weiss needs to get out of Atlas bad. Although I'm afraid with how they're writing her on like, they'll like have her take over the Weiss Dust Company again, and by that she'll be stuck in Atlas because she has to like fix her family's reputation and all of that.
Please no, don't do that. She a main character. God Lord.
Have her
I just really want to see her summon the night and destroy the manor.
Please, Volume 6, deliver
just
on
lay
that.
waste to it.
Yeah. And have like Whitley like in the middle as like debris falling, and he's like, I don't know what to do, because we know he's just a coward.
Why is the fire blue?
Meanwhile, like wine drunk mom is like straggling her way out of the mansion, like
Using the fires to cook.
Yeah. Or maybe because like the ground's shaking so much, like her drunk walk turns into a straight line because the wobble just cancels out with it.
My life. Well, not volume. They probably won't get to Alice till the end of volume 6, so volume 7.
Yeah, volume 7. Okay, so what do you think most of volume 6 will be? Do you think it's going to be more of a traveling season then? Kind of like volume 4 was for Ranger?
Except we won't be juggling 15 plots at once, which will be very nice.
Yeah, I would agree. It will definitely fix the...
My thing is, because we know like the northern bits of Anima, which is the continent Mistral is on, are very icy and tundra-y and stuff. I don't know if part of the season is going to be there and then we get to Solitas, or if it's going to be the entire volume in only one of those places.
Okay.
Especially because they're a continent away, you would need an airship, and Solitas doesn't look that big. Higher volume out of this.
Yeah, so I'm like looking at the bottom of the VYTALcast thing, because we have like just barely parts of the map of Remnant down below.
Hi Atlas, you're the worst.
Yeah, it's like, here's Atlas, here's like a dragon wing and part of the head.
We don't talk about her lands.
Yeah, we don't.
She doesn't take out the trash. It got really disgusting there. Demons started popping up.
Real bad. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I kind of hope they're not stuck on a boat for the whole season. I heard people make comparisons
it's a volume
to...
in a house. We don't need a boat volume.
Yeah, and I heard like Berserk had a boat
Those are a Kraken
season.
battle.
Yeah. I would love to see them like actually explore a bit of the world, which they would have to leave the ship to do, you know? And also, like, there's not a whole lot of conflict you could have on a boat. Does that make sense? Like, the boat could have conflict.
Unless you want to fight over who gets the fish.
True. We all know Blake's gonna win that. Yeah, Blake would kill them all. Yeah. Blake.
Adam shows up. Blake, I've come for... Why are you the only one here? Why is the boat red?
Yeah,
Why is the water
red? He's like, this paint's still fresh. And then he sees like a hand around the corner. He's like, that's not paint.
Like he sniffs. Why do I smell pennies?
Oh gosh, no. Sorry, I'm thinking like penny, but like...
I didn't mean that.
Yeah, no, I know that's not what you thought, but like, both came to my head. I'm like, oh yeah, blood smells of iron. Penny. Yeah.
Oh,
no. Blake, fish greater than friends. That's a great comment.
Food.
Yeah. But what you were saying about like the 15 different story arcs, I think that really messed with like the episodic pacing. So I'm glad they're all in
Volume
one place.
4, they didn't try to like do it. Okay, let's give each girl a set number of episodes to herself to do the story justice. They were like, okay, what scenes can we throw together this week? And I'm so happy that Volume 6 is just one group, because no more of that.
Yeah, I'm I've been really glad about that, and that's why I'm like super positive about Volume 6, because I'm like, all right, they've narrowed it down to just like one group to focus on. They'll be able to focus more on just one thing, and therefore it should be harder to mess up, you know, if they're focusing on one thing instead of like many things and multitask that. So my hopes are high.
Desperate to get a win, chasing them and trying to murder them.
Yeah, and I kind of hope Adam is developed a bit better as a villain as well, because
threatening.
Yeah, he needs to be threatening again. Like, give us some good motivations, give us some good menacing scenes of him, or like I forgot the character's name again. Have you seen My Hero Academia?
I've skimmed it, if that helps.
Okay, you know the guy with the hands?
I know it's RWBY, but better.
Yeah, you know, that's a good comparison, or like good description of it. You know the guy with the hands on his face?
What guy does not have hands?
No, like he has a hand mask. Like there's always a hand on his face.
That creepy looking guy.
Yeah, that creepy looking guy. He is the example of what I want from Adam. Starts as a crappy villain, turns into like a really great villain. Like, okay,
new voice actor.
You want a new voice actor?
Yeah, I don't like his voice. I've never liked his voice.
Yeah, is it like how he talks?
Well, because he didn't give the first good impression, because in Volume 1, his audio quality was noticeably
terrible.
But, like, as the show's gone on, he can't deliver lines like a human being.
In the Adam short, that was, like, very noticeable when he's talking to Blake. But in a way, it's almost perfect, because it's like he's trying to be a person, but he's obviously not being a person, you know?
It works in that context because he's being very manipulative and creepy.
Yeah.
But in all the other scenes, it doesn't work because he just does not sound threatening, and the writing certainly does not help.
Yeah, like, I would say the words are threatening, but, like, the delivery is not threatening.
Johnny Young Bosch is Adam, please.
Yeah. The Kaido Dan says, Garrett Hunter is improving, but it still feels off. It feels like it needs that one last thing to truly sink him into the role. So
yes, but it would need to be a big thing.
maybe the tones in his voice, or like the pitches in his voice, should be more like diverse, not so flat, you know? Because his voice sounds very flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Have it fluctuate a bit more. Kaido Dan is saying his best acting was the short, and also the scene in the ruined school with Blake. Yeah, I was going to say the scene where he's attacking Blake is like the best voice acting from Adam I've seen.
Quite honestly.
Yeah, but also, like, I'm reading Kaido Dan's comments on that, because Kaido Dan's actually training and trying to be a voice actor, just kind of like how I like talking to you about the writing, because you're also a writer, you know, like you guys know more about what you're doing or what you're talking about compared to like
not really.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was trying to give you some credit there, but okay, just throw it to the pigs. Sure, go ahead.
Self-deprecation is my brand.
Ah, darn it! No wonder why I couldn't trademark that. Try to have it for myself.
Oh dare.
Yeah, Red Like Roses is saying, nope, I want Crispin Freeman as Adam's voice actor. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, but the only role I can remember he did was Zelgadis in The Slayers.
Yeah, I was hoping you would say something I knew. Because I suck at, like, learning voice actors' names so much, like, I have to, like, really, really like them to know their voices, like, their names, like Vic, or, Laura Bailey,
Huge.
Yeah, no, like the only reason why I know the main cast's names for RWBY is because they're also a part of Rooster Teeth, and I just like love the show as a whole and love Rooster Teeth as a whole. So
Trenched in their characters.
Oh,
so.
okay. So he said Kyon in Haruhi Suzumiya. So I've seen only a few dubbed episodes of that. I've been mostly watching that subbed. So I'll have to watch that a bit more. I thought his voice was a bit a bit deep for a high schooler in a slice of life anime.
Honor wants Laura Bailey to voice Adam.
We're like, that voice sounds familiar. Kind of like a certain Fall Maiden we used to know.
Ride Warrior and the Fall Maiden.
Yeah, just like, can you imagine like Adam?
Because he ran away from the fight.
Yeah, Adam just has this like really feminine voice. You know, Blake hit him so hard in the head it messed with his throat, and that's why he sounds like Laura Bailey now.
Oh my god, it would sound more threatening, honestly.
You don't want to hear her pissed. Jeremy Noir Productions is saying, this is why I'm glad we have a Japanese dub. The Japanese actor for Adam does a great job of giving Adam a deep, threatening tone that still works emotionally. And
just send me a clip of Adam's Japanese voice after this. Also, hi.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to watch the dubbed, subbed. Do we call RWBY in Japanese dub, or do we just call it subbed?
If it's not the original language, then it's dubbed.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check because there are many times I think I'm right when I'm clearly wrong.
I'm wondering what the Japanese think if this is our first anime.
Dude, I mean, it's pretty popular over there, so they like it at least. Whether they think it's the best thing ever, I don't know. And like, RWBY is one of my favorite anime, but I would never say it's one of the best ever anime. Like, I don't think I'd even put in the top 10 in like quality of writing in animation at all.
Probably not, but like it means a lot to a lot of people, and I feel like that is enough.
Yeah, I totally
like, it's a mess, but it's our mess.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we know it's not perfect, but we love it all the same. And honestly, that's I'm having flashbacks of like psychology classes when we learned about love. Love is like when you finally get out of the stage of infatuation and you start to notice someone and all of their flaws, but you still care for them despite the flaws being so noticeable to you now. And
yeah, that's RWBY.
Yeah, that's RWBY. Like, we love it, even though we know it's not perfect. We know there's flaws. We know it could do better here and there, but we still like super passionate and loving of it. Oh, actually, your mic, I saw on Discord, you were trying to talk, but nothing was coming through. Do you want to repeat?
Oh, I just said it ruined our lives.
Ruined. Made my life great. But what do you... there was that comment you shared on Twitter last night, the one about the person, like, assuming you hate RWBY. Do you want to clear your name now on that?
Well, see, that's a thing that I get, because I talked about how, like, I'm kind of the middle ground of the fandom, and so I get people from the extremes of both sides thinking that I'm the enemy side.
Okay.
And it's not fun, because, like, I've gotten people who are RWBY loyalists saying that I hate the show and then I shouldn't talk about it. The funny thing is that they always say if you don't like the show, don't watch it, yet they're watching my videos that they don't like.
Yeah, you know, I have also been one saying, like, hey, if you don't like the show, stop watching. But I never said that in reference to you, because when I watch your videos, I know you're just critiquing it, and I could tell you don't hate it. But I also, like, use my brain when I watch videos. I don't just, like, immediately react, you know?
Which is appreciated.
Yeah.
I like these comments.
Yeah, I like to, like, actually contemplate what I'm hearing and think on it before I react at the face value of it, which could easily be misinterpreted as, oh, they're saying bad, like mean things about the show, therefore they must hate it. But I could easily tell.
Like, obviously he must die.
The internet's like, no. Or my English teacher also says, like, no one likes a fence sitter, which is kind of like you in the middle ground, just getting, like, both sides.
See, I actually have legit reasons to be here. Okay?
Yeah. You're like, it's uncomfortable to be here, but there's a reason why I'm here.
One must do it.
Yeah.
Someone must reach Miles and Carrie, and this is the only way to.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they're more willing to listen to someone like you, who's obviously not bashing it for no reason, or nitpicking, or attacking them personally. You know, someone who actually have thought through what they're saying and, like, loves the show and wants it to improve.
Because I've talked to a lot of the critics to the point where I would consider them friends, and, like, because I used to really dislike them before I got more involved in the community.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, they're really good people and they do care about the show. It's just their brand is their really sharp edge, and their, like, how to phrase this?
Yeah.
The way that they ruthlessly go after the show, that's their brand. So if they kind of stray away from that, their viewers really
go after them. Yeah. Which I can understand, but at the same time, I'm like, you didn't have to make your brand like that in the first place. But I can understand, like, once you go against what you already established, people will freak.
Plus, that's how a lot of critic personalities on the internet are, so they probably picked it up from that, like, without even thinking about it.
Yeah, and I remember, like, once or twice I tried to do that with, like, Halo 5 or, like, some other topic, never about RWBY, but, like, I remember, like, not even publishing the videos because I just knew I couldn't do it well, but also didn't feel like I was being myself doing it, because I'm just not that type of person to, like, viciously rip something to shreds.
Yeah, which is a good thing, because you want to be authentic in your videos.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know, like, I've seen some of Vexed videos and be like, or your videos even, and I'm like, yeah, I would like to have, like, some sort of critique video, but anytime I try to, like, get my words out, it's just like, I know I can't do it, like, to the level that you could do it, where it's well thought out, makes sense, and is convincing.
Because it's different for everybody. Like, everybody has their own style and their view. You just have to find your voice and your craft.
Yeah, and I think so far for my channel, it's like improv. Like, I have bullet points, and I say whatever I think about each of the bullet points, and when it comes to criticism, that's not a good formula at all, because you need to have, like, a solid thought or statement, I feel.
But it could be good for something else. Like, there's a YouTube reviewer I really like, Jenny Nicholson, who's a lot more laid back than a lot of the other critic personalities, like Lindsay Ellis, for example. I feel like maybe Jenny's approach would fit your style from what you've said more. Okay.
I will keep that in mind when Volume 6 comes out, and we'll look them up. Someone... Mimicry is saying, someone actually punched me because I liked the Raven plot twist in Volume 5?
I'll punch them in the face.
What did you think about that?
I got called a
twist?
sheep for liking that plot twist.
This is news to me. Like, why are people not liking that plot twist?
I don't even remember the exact reasons why, but, like, I remember because the reason I thought she was the maiden is because she was her being the maiden was the reason she left in the first place. That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
That the whole maiden running away thing was a fake maiden propped up by Ozpin. That was my approach. But then they actually had Raven kill the actual Spring Maiden who left 10 years ago. And conveniently, her name was not dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Her name isn't Bernal. All right.
Yeah, they definitely made it a bit more darker than they needed to with, like, revealing that she's the Spring Maiden. But I loved the plot twist, like the whole she's not the Spring Maiden. I am. Like, I was so...
The aesthetic of that shot, the color of the flames, the way that she delivered that line, just yes. Also, the fact it was a character we actually cared about.
Yeah, and so like, that's why I'm so confused on like why someone would not like that. Because if anything, we should love the Spring Maiden or be invested in who they are, and who we had thought it was did not fit that at all. Because we knew nothing.
Yeah, we should have seen it coming, honestly.
I mean, considering the track record it had throughout Volume 4 and then a lot of Volume 5.
Yeah, she put out the lantern.
Yeah. Can we blame them? And Moonblast is saying that was one of the best things I've seen in RWBY, honestly, and I agree with that. Like, it was really good. Okay, we know we got a good audience when everyone's like agreeing, being like, yeah, we liked that plot twist. It was good.
Good children, you don't have wrong opinions.
Yeah. Someone's like, I thought Cinder should have been the Spring Maiden. We're like, wait, what? And then we're like, no, that's a wrong opinion right there.
That's the wrong season.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah, wrong season. Oh, are you thinking that Cinder would become Spring Maiden at some point?
We know she wants all the main powers because she's a hoe. She's a hoe.
Yeah, she's a hoe. Or at least Salem's really hoeing her out. Being like, yes, child, collect all of the powers. Become all the powerful.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Twice the amount of ice.
Twice the amount of ice.
I could do that before, Salem. Yes, but now it's colder, slightly.
Slightly colder. They'll get frostbite just a second faster.
Get the Winter Maiden powers, you'll be able to make little tiny microscopic snowflakes.
Oh,
you make them big enough, I can make doilies that will last like 5 minutes.
If you do it just enough, maybe school in Utah would actually have a snow day. But, screwy.
Twist, Utah is on the Dragon Continent.
Yeah, we really are. Or we're in Atlas. It's one of those.
No,
two.
I'm pretty sure the Dragon Continent is meant to symbolize Florida and all of its horribleness.
Yeah, Dragon Continent man eats face off of a person.
Oh my God, Salem is in Disney World.
She's like,
the world after a nuclear apocalypse.
You know how like they do like the fireworks thing each night, and like at some point the villains pop out. She's the Ursula that pops out with like all the tentacles and stuff, and like, ha. That's
after she gets out of the pit.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Scurry getting my attention. He's saying, if it wasn't for the fact that Raven was the maiden. It was the fact that Vernal's character was proved to be completely pointless and was nothing more than a bait and switch.
It was basically a plot device. And she did well there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, well, she served her purpose extremely well from my point of view. But, I mean, like...
in the olden days of writing, you could get away with that, but now everyone needs to be developed.
Yeah. Like, do you think, with the times changing, like, people's like requirements for like what they consider good, or like the bar has definitely been raised as society grows?
I would say yes, because well, the cliches are no longer acceptable. They worked back then, but they're cliche now for a reason, because people who don't understand how they worked in the first goddamn place are ruining them for everyone.
Yeah. Gosh.
21st century, basically everything has been done. So
yeah, they're like, oh, we've seen this done before, therefore, like, give us something new. But on the other hand, it's also
your villain is actually a god and also the main character's father. I've seen that in 5 other shows this week.
I swear, like Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars was even the first thing to do that with Darth Vader being the father of Luke, but
it got away with it because it popularized it.
Yeah, it popularized it, and then it's just started becoming overused cliche, and like eventually just became like, you know, so predictable and stuff as well.
Because in Star Wars, it was thought out. When every other show or story did that, it wasn't thought out.
Yeah. Although, I feel bad for, like, how they thought it out, because Darth Vader in German is Dark Father. And it's like, yeah, that was really well thought out to, like, name him that. But for the German audience, that kind of sucked. Because they're like, oh, yeah, makes sense.
I'm sorry I'm
yeah.
always shitting on Florida. I just don't like the state. I like the people in it, not the state.
Yeah. Spoilers, Portal. Oh, sorry, I spoiled a 40-year-old movie.
No, that movie literally everyone has seen.
You'd be surprised the amount of people I've met who have not seen it. And one of them was my hotel buddies for RTX this year. My friend Shane has never seen Star Wars. He got through the prequels. Like he was forced to sit down and start from episode 1, and he's still to the point where he can't really name the characters, and like he has highly misunderstood ideas of what certain iconic scenes are for Star Wars, and it's really funny to ask him about. But like, who's Princess Leia, or like, what's her most iconic moment? And he like tries to explain something. And it's like, you are far from it. But
resemblance is the ability to watch the genocide of our planet and not cry about it.
Oh, gosh, Skywalker women, they're made of steel. Speaking of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker II in the chat is saying, puns were actually once held in high regard in literature during the Renaissance era. Even Shakespeare used them in his plays. But now they always eye roll. Yeah, people.
I love puns. The more death threats you get from a pun, the better.
That just shows the quality of pun you had right there.
Exactly.
You're like, I only got one. Guess that pun wasn't too great. I haven't been punished enough.
To hang me. I'm sad.
Yeah. Okay, Hunt SD is saying cough, Arnold cough. Well, what are you... Oh, yeah, Arnold hasn't seen Star Wars. Murderer Birds has not seen Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? I mean, like...
Well, if I'm gonna be real, I've seen, like, the first 2. I never bothered with the third one, mainly because it wasn't my cup of tea.
Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi?
Oh.
Okay, of the original Star Wars, or the early 2000 ones?
Trilogy, not the prequels.
Okay. Yeah, Return of the Jedi, it has its good moments, but definitely, yeah, there's definitely parts you want to, like, cut out or could do without.
The prequels are a wreck.
Yeah. Although Revenge of the Sith is pretty watchable, I would say. Out of the prequels, Revenge of the Sith is the best one, and is sorta worth watching. It has some
Midichlorian bullshit.
No. That's in the Phantom Menace. That's in the first one. They do not mention midichlorians beyond that point.
No, I'm just saying in general. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Disney's like, let's retcon that, please.
Midichlorians are the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah. Way to say Jar Jar Binks. Wait, okay, so someone in the chat, Theo, said Vader is easily one of the best cinematic villains ever. And then Connor Bobbitt, right after him, is like, strange way to say Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my actual god.
Yeah. And Steven? Yeah, Steven, in the chat, he's like, puns are my kryptonite. I don't hate them, but they make me question life choices.
No.
Yeah. It's like you would have hated my panel at RTX if you were there.
And goddammit, Barb, at least once every 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, you definitely did. It might have been once every 5 minutes, but it was pretty good. But yeah, and like, okay, Luke Skywalker, like, no, I like Return of the Jedi too. It's just, there are definitely parts that I think are unnecessary, but I still enjoy the movie.
By midichlorians.
No, Return of the Jedi is part of the originals. Midichlorians weren't a thing yet. we don't talk about midichlorians. Oh yeah, Stefan. Oh, you're Stefan, dude. I am not used to seeing your like personal YouTube account in the chat. I thought if anything I would have saw the cracked brain. Yeah, he's our last week's guest and a good friend of mine. So yeah.
Greetings, fellow human.
Yeah. Also, okay, so I want to go back to my list to see if I have anything else to ask you. Okay, here's a good one. Since this will kind of maybe go back to the Raven plot twist, what are your favorite RWBY moments?
See, well, the food fight. Like, we all love that food fight.
That's actually like one of the go-to scenes I go to for like introducing people to RWBY. Like my cousin Holly, my friend Ashley. There's been so many people where I'm like, okay, you gotta watch how ridiculous the food fight is, because
Yeah, because if you just send them volume 1, there's a good chance they won't follow through and see that beauty.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is the first episode of season 2. Go back to season 1. Keep this in mind. Watch it.
Food fight.
Yes, food fight. Like, see, volume 2 is like one of my favorites. Like, I hold very dear in my heart. And when you like ranked them, their like grades for the writing, and you put volume 2 as number 1, I was so happy because it.
Fun, cohesive volume, and the most consistent volume besides volume 4.
Yeah, and because I see so many people just like tear volume 2 apart, or like especially like the ending on like how the ending was just kind of like, okay, we're done.
Don't like Breach.
Yeah, and but like volume 2 was like when I really dived into the fandom. Like, I kind of passively watched volume 1 when it was coming out, but then volume 2 was like when I seriously dived in and was like always blogging about it on Tumblr and like requesting gifts to be made. And I think the food fight was what did that.
This is before RWBY tried to make itself a really serious, dark show, so it's really, really fun. Like, you could just get a bunch of friends together and just watch it and have fun for a few hours.
Yeah, and that's kind of what RWBY was for me in the beginning, and then now, you know, with volume 3 changing the game and making volumes 4 and 5 having to be different, like forcing this change, I feel out of place in the fandom sometimes, especially now that people expect it to be super serious or like higher quality writing, when I'm used to, you know, just the goofy fun and like you enjoy it for what it is, you know?
Yeah, that kind of backfired on them.
It did. It did, and it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because they're like, we want to do something really great.
Grow up and be this epic thing, but your team just can't handle it.
Yeah, or like, now expectations are like so high, and it like, you gotta hit that bar, but that bar is so hard to hit. And the reason why you did so well with volume 3 and doing all that is because he had 2 other volumes that kind of built up to it.
3 was built around the dark twist that they'd set up. Volume 4 and 5 were just kind of eh.
I mean, volume 5 loosely revolved around the Spring Maiden, but that's loosely, you know, it loosely revolved around that and like getting the team back together one way or another, coincidentally.
I still think Volume 4 is better than Volume 3 because Volume 4 was more consistent and there was an active goal for the characters. Whereas Volume 3, the first half was pretty much nothing, and then it gets really good in the second half, but it can't make up for the first half.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of the nothing in the beginning of Volume 3 was, again, like just kind of like the goofy fun that we're used to from RWBY. But then, you know, once we hit the end of episode 6, you know, the contrast is so great. Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, and another moment I just have to say, Fall of Beacon into one big moment. I feel like that was like the best time to be in the show, like to watch the show.
Oh, dude, I mean that's what started my reaction videos. Honestly, like before Volume 3 came out, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do reaction videos. Like, I want to do that to be like a part of the fandom, because during Volume 2 it was like, man, I love this fandom, but like I don't really contribute anything to it other than reblogging someone's fan art, you know? It's like, I want to create something and like I don't want to like type out paragraphs of my thoughts. I want to talk about it, and I have a YouTube channel, so why not do it on YouTube? And all throughout Volume 3, I just kept watching episodes and forgetting, and it took Penny being killed for me to be like, no, I should definitely be more strict on myself and do it. So, yeah, that was definitely, like, the best part, to be jumping into the show and the fandom and, like, the conspiracy theories of, like, Pyrrha being Neo and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
Do you remember that? It was like...
Lord, everyone thinks everyone is Neo.
It was like a week-long conspiracy because Pyrrha smirked on the elevator.
Yeah, that. I remember that. Yeah. Why did they put that in there?
Yeah, she goes in the elevator and she just smirks and then credits. And everyone's like, it's Neo! Ah!
No, it doesn't make sense.
And I was like, I could see what you mean, but why would they do that? How would that make sense?
Carter is the headmaster.
You know that
Neo becomes the maiden.
The show could have been a lot darker, a lot faster if they did that. He's like, all right, Miss Nikos, I would like to talk to you. Blah! And then, you know, death.
Our Saul can create tornadoes.
Yeah. All right. Mimicry saying they have to go. They have work tomorrow. It was fun. Senpai of War.
Bring in Mimicry.
Yeah, see ya. It's a funny thing that they mentioned they have work, because I have work at 6 in the morning tomorrow as well, so...
Help you.
I've already worked 50 hours this week, and I have an 8-hour shift tomorrow still.
Remember the money.
Yeah, no, the money is what's keeping me alive right now. I'm like, gotta get that money. But on the other hand, I'm like, I got YouTube videos I should be making, and I don't have the energy after work to do that. So, because 10-hour shifts are a pain.
It will kill you.
Yeah, they do kill me. Any other iconic or favorite RWBY moments for you? Other than the food fight?
Let's see. Pretty much any moment involving Ren and Nora, because I love them.
Renora's so good.
Couple, oh my god.
Now that they killed off Arcos, Renora is like giving me life support, so I appreciate
this.
So
moment
much.
In Volume 5. I needed that.
Yeah,
I could have forgiven all of Volume 5 just for that.
You know, I don't know why I'm thinking back to my panel. I don't know why, but RTX panels have been on my head all day today. But one of the first things we said at the panel was Gray apparently kind of retconned Renora being canon by saying they're just friends right now. And we were like, BS! The Volume 4 finale. Yeah, we're like, no! They became canon in Volume 4. You can't take that away from us. Yeah, it's like, who just holds hands and then puts their head on their shoulder and still be platonic? You disgust me.
But, like, why? What would be the purpose of it? What's to lose from them being a couple?
They're not cuddle whores. They don't cuddle without commitment. Like, come on.
Do you know how many new viewers would show up just to watch that?
Seriously, like, I feel like in all of the moments they could have at least had them in the background holding hands. Well, they just kept them on opposite.
In Lionheart's office, they could have been cuddling on the couch all adorably.
Yeah, or at least holding hands, or like, I'm thinking more specifically when Yang and Weiss show up and they're like having dinner. Like, there were so many like tiny missed opportunities they could have had, you know?
Them eating each other.
Yeah, it was like, you could have had like Nora try to feed Ren or something, or like, you know, her hugging him from behind while he's cooking, or like them
seeing the intro and them fighting Hazel, which they reused for the Fall of Haven, which I'll never forgive. But when it happened, I thought, are they foreshadowing something bad is going to happen to Nora and Ren is going to get super pissed about it?
Oh, no. No.
That animation.
No.
Shamelessly.
No.
Different angle.
Yeah, the Kaido Dan is saying Dishwasher's recent Renora art shows the purity of this show with having them as a couple. And yes, I agree. Hold on, I'm going to my photo gallery on my phone because I've been saving that art and sending it to my friend Ashley because she loves Renora. Like, look how cute. Look how cute this wedding picture is of them. Like,
I have seen it.
Like,
oh my god, they're so adorable.
Wait, hold on. There's one of them as a family too, and it's like just it's just so beautiful. And camera, if you can focus, like, oh my gosh, like Dishwasher, you are one of my favorite fan artists. Thank you for watering my crops. My skin is clear. Like it.
I'm crying.
I've been a fan of their fan art since Volume 2, and it's just. Oh my gosh, I'm tearing up actually. Gosh, oh no, hold on.
Oh god, and
it's just
pink.
It's pink. Yeah. Just give us Renora moments. Just give us a little happy. Like, it doesn't have to be in the main spotlight. It could be a little thing in the background, you know? Like,
you retcon it though. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if anything, they retconned it outside of the show, so technically, they haven't retconned it. Ish. They maybe they could have like a little scene of Nora being like, "Come on, Ren! Like, when are we gonna be like public? When are we gonna be Facebook official, if you will? You know, like." She's like, you know,
do they have social media on Remnant?
I don't know, and honestly, like, ever since I got like the iPhone XS, I've been thinking like, what are the Scrolls security like things? Like, do they have face recognition, thumbprint scanner? Do they enter a pin? Does everyone just risk it without a password?
You can easily hack into them.
So no password at all. They're like, we haven't even thought of that.
Beacon, but the E is a 3, and then a pound symbol at the end. and then Ospin sucks.
Ospin sucks. It's not. You're not wrong.
I hate that man.
Yeah, Inspector Who says they don't have social media since the towers went down. So.
Or then.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing I don't even get, because they're. Okay, I get their scrolls working from local relay towers, but now it seems like the other towers still work, which is weird. Like, how did Corsica Fennec get the message from Adam if he's a continent away?
Snail mail? Maybe
how does this
bird?
How does this work?
Maybe Raven has a side job? I don't know.
Not to answer for, because she's helping a lot of villains.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you want me to go as a bird, or it'll cost extra if I teleport?" You know, like I'm
sending a letter to Jacques about like capturing Weiss, and he's like, "Oh, a strange bird. Oh, my daughter's been kidnapped. Oh, good riddance. Now I don't need to explain why I killed my daughter myself."
Oh, gosh, yeah. Also, like, why haven't they been to space yet and like set up satellites?
Because dust stops working the second it leaves the atmosphere.
Wait, is that like the actual canon reason?
Yeah, it was in the World of Remnant on dust.
It's been so long since I watched that one. Like,
it's sending stuff into the atmosphere, but the second it leaves, the dust stops working.
Okay, that makes sense. So it might have like a tie to the Earth. So
I have no idea what that tie is, but it better be damn good after waiting for 6 years.
The Earth is just one big grim egg or something, and it.
On Miles and Carrie.
Is, like, the moon was a grim egg, and it laid a bigger egg. We're
ripping off Game of Thrones lore with a dragon egg.
Or maybe they're cocoons. It's just wrapping itself in a bigger Earth cocoon. Break out and be a beautiful butterfly.
Fantasy 13 as well. Ripping off everything.
Or that really, really terrible Doctor Who episode that went absolutely nowhere. Because
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, no, they had an episode where like the moon is acting really weird. It's shaking and it's messing with the Earth's gravity. Oh, it's an egg. Do we kill the thing inside the egg and save the people on Earth, or do we let the egg hatch, therefore destroying the moon and basically killing Earth? But it didn't matter because they let it hatch, and it immediately laid a moon-sized egg that looked the exact same in the exact same spot. So everything they did, the entire episode was pointless. And they had
laying a chicken.
Yeah, no, it was like a chicken immediately hatched from the egg and immediately laid another egg, and it was like I was just done with that episode. I'm like, Moffat, resign, please. And then he did another 2 seasons and just.
I'll roll.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker is saying like, why the F is the moon shattered? I do not know.
Edgy and cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I know. Wait, Kaido Dan, you watch Doctor Who, right? You know the episode I'm talking about. And the worst thing about that episode is it's in a season that had a plot just like that, where like everything they did didn't matter in the end anyways, because everything was fine. They're like, oh no, the sun is exploding and it's gonna destroy Earth. Oh, don't worry, the tree fairy saved Earth and the sun is fine.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah, no, and like the whole time they're like, oh, the stupid forest fairies, they're kidnapping people. Oh no, they were just sheltering them. They're good. They're not bad guys. It was like everything they did in the episode did not matter, and then like 2 episodes later, they had the moon episode where they did the exact same thing, and it's like, come on, guys, you only
on the moon.
It's like you only get 10 episodes a season. You can't have 20% of your season be this. So, yeah, it was a 12th Doctor episode, Kaido Dan, because he said he skimmed it.
That certainly sounds like a thing that exists.
Yeah. Okay, so Skur Wraith is saying, did they forget that Yang was totally able to survive a fall at terminal velocity through a marble ceiling and walk it off like it was nothing? Someone can throw a satellite into space and fall back.
Defied that by saying it was comedy.
Yeah, it was comedy. Yeah, and also, like, I feel like when it comes to, like, combat, a lot of shows are very lenient on, like, what will determine a death blow and not a death blow.
It's fine.
Yeah. Because, like,
That's why I really like Aura, because it kind of fixes that problem, but then it introduces a whole new slew of problems.
Yeah, it does, because now people have to, like, wait to see the Aura break, or, like, oh, if the Aura breaks, how are they still able to do this?
Is able to use Aura like that, or for how long, or how much it can take. There's no visual cue to show someone activating their Aura.
Yeah. Yeah, Barbara, the Chosen One quoted Barbara Dunkelman. It's like, it's a cartoon!
It's a cartoon! Barb.
I love Barb so much.
I love her, but...
Sorry, I think your mic cut off after you said you love her?
I love Barb, but god damn it.
I see what you did there. What did you think about Barb's response to the person asking about Monty at RTX? Did you see that?
Yeah, it was like let me try to refresh on it. It was, he asked about Monty, and like, I don't remember what the exact question was, but was it along the lines of how you guys have moved on without Monty?
It was kind of like
along those lines, or
it was along those lines with like kind of an added like, do you miss him kind of thing. So you're correct.
Barb's response was, it upsets us, so let's not talk about it. Like,
yeah, she said like, can we please stop asking that question now? Because like they get asked it like almost every year, and I wouldn't be surprised at like every panel they have at other conventions or like in private like autograph signing stuff.
Is we don't know them personally, because everyone grieves and deals with grief and loss in a completely different way. Mm-hmm. So we don't know how any of them deal with it, or Barb specifically. I see why it comes across like people like, oh, she's being so rude and dismissive of Monty, but like for all we know, that's her way of dealing with it.
Yeah, and also like from experience of like having grieved someone dying, like my dad, like whenever that gets mentioned up by someone else, it's like a wound unwillingly being like reopened, you know? Like if I bring it up myself, I'm good, but if it's not brought up on my terms, then it kind of stirs the pot a bit, you know?
I'm the same way with my mom, because you're not expecting it, and so your guard is kind of
down,
or you can bring up a guard.
Yeah,
and it just like a really nasty way.
Yeah, and especially like at an event like RTX where you're like supposed to have a good time, everything's supposed to be happy, and then like you're reminded of
I can't even imagine
one of the worst
probably
things.
Are like, we're probably gonna get asked about him 50 times. Like I can't even imagine what that's like, knowing that it's coming.
Yeah, and like
having to have that guard up constantly.
I know that on a very small scale with family reunions on my dad's side, because every time everyone's like, oh, you look just like him, or you are just like him, and it's like, I'm trying to be my own person. Like, I felt like Harry Potter. Like, people knew me because they knew my dad. And, like, I don't know them because the family's so big, and it's like, I've never met you, but you know me because I resemble someone you know. And so I could sort of understand, but they have it on such a larger scale that I'm like, that must be really emotionally draining.
Oh, honestly.
So and like Miles and Carrie, especially for like always being compared to Monty, or like, you know,
a lot of people who are like, oh, you're desecrating Monty's vision, and it's just they know Monty's vision better than literally anyone because they helped him flesh it out. They were there with him when he developed it.
Yeah, and they're really the only ones who could stay true to it, you know? Like, if anyone else tried to step in and take control of RWBY and do it to what they thought Monty wanted to do, they'd have it all wrong. You know?
Another line that, like, I feel like RWBY could stand to have a few, like, other writers, or at least writing advisors to help Miles and Carrie flesh out the ideas, but I feel like you need Miles and Carrie there.
Yeah. And when I said, like, if you bring someone else, I meant, like, if you bring someone else to replace Miles and Carrie, and, like, they weren't involved. Like, but I do think they should bring on additional writers to maybe, like, flesh out an episode here and there into, like...
I was hoping they'd bring on, like, some Nomad of Nowhere writers, like,
that'd be good.
I'm trying to remember their names, like, Jordan Suarez. I think they were, because the end of Nomad of Nowhere was so good, and I'm like, why are they not writing for RWBY?
And I'm only halfway through Nomad of Nowhere. I really need to finish it, but I've been loving it. Like, it's just so pure, at least where I'm at. I heard it gets a little more sad very soon. And
oh, you're in for it.
It's like, and that's kind of why I've been waiting. It's like, I want to emotionally prepare myself to see something so pure and happy to me get sad. Like, it's hinted they're sad. Yeah.
In one season, it did what it took 3 volumes for RWBY to do.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, I know it's not bad, but it's like, you know, I gotta have my guard up, but I'm also, like, excited, but I'm also, like, where do I have the time? There's just a lot of things going on in my head with that. But I agree, like, Nomad of Nowhere's been, like, super solid, and if RWBY could just be at that consistency as Nomad of Nowhere, I think hardly anyone would complain. You know? Amazing,
but it would be a huge step up.
Yes. Yeah, and I honestly think, like, consistency is really just, like, one of the big things we need. You know, like, if we had that, just the overall quality would grow a lot, and then, like, if you work on your flaws, then we'll go even higher than that. Like, you know, we're going up the ladder.
Yeah, consistency is way more important, because we had Volume 3 which had, like, really high peaks and really low lows. And we can't have that again.
Yeah, because, like, the first episode, for me, was very contrasting on quality, because the opening scene with RWBY talking to her mom was beautiful, had me crying, and then we immediately jumped to the tournament with Team RWBY fighting against the fan-made team. Team
Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn. And that scene, you know, like, it was fun, but it wasn't, like, to the quality of, like, action and excitement that we're used to from RWBY. So it felt like we went from, like, a high to a low real fast right there.
And then Portanoob, like, explained the rules mid-fight.
But
well, the Super Bowl, if they explained how football works.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Super Bowl did that, because, like, I forget by the time the next Super Bowl starts and I'm forced to spend time with family watching it. I'm like...
No, I mean, like, as they're playing.
No, I know.
They just lead you away to an infographic.
They're like, okay, for the halftime show, we're going to explain the rules of the game.
While they are actually playing on the field.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. But then we also had the scene where they were eating ramen, and I really loved that scene. So I feel like the first episode by itself was like high, low, high, you know, like... So I agree with that.
Considering I ranked Volume 3, Chapter 2 as the worst RWBY episode.
Oh, really? Dude, I'm gonna have to, like, rewatch that episode and then, like, watch your video on that.
It's so pointless. It's so pointless and the action is trash.
Oh, wait. That's the Team Juniper fighting episode, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Juniper and Sun matches.
Yeah, oh. Yeah, I agree with that. That was just to, like, show teams are progressing up the ladder, aren't they? They're like, hey, it's like, it doesn't even show Jean becoming a better leader, or it doesn't hint at Pyrrha's fate at all. Team Sun is just there for laughs. It doesn't do anything. I mean, it was at least entertaining? Question mark? I mean,
it was not entertaining.
I was just like, oh, they mentioned the ship names, and I was set, you know? Or like, oh, Neptune tiptoed to the water and, like, took out the team in a comedic way. Yeah.
That was kind of cute, but it was not worth that.
Yeah, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, God.
And the Juniper team attack names were kind of cute, but they were not worth that. The only thing I will ever defend from that episode, genuinely, the two things
Nora?
are...
Oh, never mind.
It was Crow being drunk because he's beautiful.
Oh, go.
And it was Weiss going, break his stupid face, Indigo!
Because Neptune was easily, like, what high school me tried to be. But just never could have done it. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, high school me was very naive. But also, thank you, high school me, for being too pathetic to achieve what you thought was cool at the time.
Like, you had Neptune break out of his shell to talk to Weiss halfway through Volume 2.
And be open.
They reset him!
Yeah, like... I could see, like, realistically in the real world, like, yeah, that makes sense for a person, but for, like, a narrative story, that's a nuisance, you know?
The whole point of fiction is to be unrealistic. We are girls with superpowers flying everywhere, fighting literal demons.
Yeah. And actually, I think that's, like, something they actually did in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sorry, I'm jumping way back to the beginning. But, like, Buffy, like, twice, and I think I mentioned this in my In Defense of Blake Belladonna video. I compared Blake to Buffy, because Buffy runs away from home twice. And they're for, like, sort of similar reasons. And it's kind of like, hey, you know, like, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that was considered really great writing and, like, realistic character.
The thing with Blake,
yeah,
amorphous. Her character has always had a problem with remaining consistent, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, her running away, because I feel like if they had her run away, they should have focused on her trauma and fear for Adam. The whole reason she should have gone home was to warn her parents of Adam and then ditch. But they didn't do that. Yeah.
I kind of saw it more as like how I saw Blake running away, and I think this might have been more of what they were trying to intend with her, was for her to right her wrongs. She felt like she had to go back to where she believes she started to go off the path, and that was from separating from her parents, and maybe, you know, she felt like she cut ties or like did them wrong, so she's gonna go back and apologize to them, and like, I don't know, like go through this list of things she did wrong, and then like have defeating Adam and making things good with Yang again, right?
The way that they wrote her made it seem like she was just running to her parents because she didn't know where else to go, which is fine, except that they didn't focus on like the devastating trauma that makes her like this.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, there's definitely like
paranoid Adam. She should be paranoid that Adam could show up any second.
Yeah, like she definitely should have been more finicky, especially once Finnick and names. Why? Finnick and it starts with a C. Corsic. Yeah, thank you. When Finnick and Corsic showed up and they start talking about, yeah, you know, it was very coincidental, that one. I did not plan that. I just said finicky, and I'm like, oh, the character I need to bring up just happens to be named Finnick. But like, I feel like she definitely should have been more finicky once they showed up.
When that happened, I legit thought the next time we saw Blake, Adam was gonna show up at her house and kill everyone she loved.
Yeah, no.
Because what I thought was gonna happen is that he was gonna show up and drive them into the desert of Menagerie.
Oh, that's very
like we were told the desert was
like
supposedly very, very dangerous and filled with terrible wildlife, and I was like, interesting they're bringing that up. We're gonna see it, right? No.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm like love hating all this stuff being pointed out to me. I'm like,
isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's like this is a curse, but I also enjoy it. Maybe it's like a drug. I don't know. But yeah, that's like a really good idea, is to like, I mean, it would definitely bring up the stakes for them instead of like, oh, you shouldn't be trusting the White Fang.
In my rewrite.
Yeah, it's like, you shouldn't be trusting the White Fang. Well, they haven't really done anything here, but you shouldn't trust them. Well, I don't know. And then like Ilya shows up, and they're like, Ilya's a lone wolf, and everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. So
trust the guys with the terrorist masks.
Yeah. and the painting they worship for who knows why. Did they ever explain the painting? They didn't.
See, that pissed me off. I actually, for my rewrite, I made a whole list of ideas for religions within Remnant, and I made like 3 variants of a Faunus religion.
Oh man, like, I don't know, like I could see a lot of it being like, oh, we didn't have time to fill it in, and also we already got so much on our plate, like why keep throwing on more? I made it because
it looked creepy for the scene. That's literally it.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of cutting stuff, what do you think of Miles' tweet about killing your darlings?
That most people apparently don't know what that term means. That set me on a very deep level.
Yeah. I'm like, part of me was like, my first thought was like, oh, they killed someone, but then I'm like, wait, I know that doesn't mean killing off characters, and was definitely more cutting floor stuff, but. Do you think that's more of a good thing that they're doing that?
I don't know. Because in Volume 5, they could have used some darlings because it was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, so now it's just like we'll see if those darlings were needed or will be missed if we have the final product.
It's stuff that was meant to be in Volume 5.
Oh, no. Now I'm just thinking of Destiny, where like they had all this stuff planned out for the base game, and they're like, we're gonna cut out all the story and put in DLC because people love paying more money for something they already own.
The only DLC I will ever accept is if Kingdom Hearts 3 decides to make a Moana world. That's it. That's all I want.
Dude, I really want to get into Kingdom Hearts, but the scale of its story at what it's at is really intimidating to me, and I'm really happy they're trying to make it as easy as possible for a newcomer like me to jump into it. but each of the games are
Scary.
also like 50 to 60 hours from what I understand.
Actually, no. Like, if you just go with story, they're only like 20 to 30.
Okay. That sounds a
Actual,
bit...
well, that's the actual playable games. That's not like the
Okay.
cutscene games, which are like only 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. That sounds a bit more manageable.
Yeah,
And I
and
would
for like
love
the
to-
major ones, I highly recommend Super Butter Buns for beginners videos. Like, she explains how to get into the games
Yeah.
for like if you're a total beginner and you know nothing
Dude, I love Super Butter Buns
at all.
so much. Like,
So much.
like, bless her heart. Like, she's an angel. We did not deserve her. And, like, she made Persona 5 so much more enjoyable for me. Like, it was great.
Her near video got cursed.
What happened to her near video?
It was hell for her to make. Premiere kept glitching out as she made it, and it kept getting delayed. And then when it finally got out, it got copyright claimed because she used a long clip of music.
Oh, no.
And no money off of it.
No. No.
I love her so much.
That is so tragic. That reminds me of one of my Persona 5 playthrough videos. Like, I'm like, okay, instead of streaming this bit of the game, I'm just gonna play through it and, like, just kind of do heavy edits on it. And when I released it, it got, like, no views at all. And I was like, I put 18 hours worth of work into this video, and I didn't even get...
when my DuckTales video got, like, less views than I'm used to.
Oh, no. I will go watch that to help you feel less bad about that video.
Is like, I started my brand as a RWBY tuber, so it's to be expected anything not RWBY won't get as many views.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of heartbreaking.
No, it is. That's how I feel about, like, my gaming content, or, like, I've had quite a few people who are in the chat right now who have requested, like, My Hero Academia content. And I release a My Hero Academia discussion video, and, like, no views, no comments. I'm like, where are the people that wanted this, you know?
I'll pledge your souls to me. Give me the view.
Yeah.
Put it on in the background and mute it.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. Like, anyone who does that, like, I have so many people that watch the streams, like, just on the background, and I'm like, I appreciate you guys so much. Like, thank you. And also, anyone that's in the chat right now being active, I love you too, because you're also contributing, and you're all dear to me. So
that DuckTales review was cursed.
yeah, Dan's saying he adores it.
How many curses?
Wow. Moonblast putting out a very controversial opinion in the comments. It says, because My Hero sucks.
For you. The
Yeah,
internet's
like,
coming for you.
Yeah. Right now, there's like a warrant and like a bounty on your head right now.
Guarantee 10 of the people in the chat already went to the dark web to get a hitman.
Yeah. They're like achievement hunter. Whenever they play Grand Theft Auto with Gavin, they just hire a hitman on Gavin. Like My Hero Academia, it's great writing. It focuses on the characters. It does have a plot. It definitely goes against the shonen norms, but that's why it's so great. And you really just gotta like stick with the first couple volumes and go into it. I highly recommend the manga over the anime, but I love the anime as well. But I love manga a lot, and manga doesn't give you filler episodes. Yes, yeah, like the RWBY manga. I love that. I mean, I've only read one of them, but it's great.
I mean, if they want to make it like a RWBY Brotherhood from when after main RWBY wraps up, I'm down for it. I'm just saying.
Dude. Or like do somewhat what Naruto did, and between Naruto and Shippuden, they did the Kakashi Chronicles, which is like, hey, let's go back in an already established time with an established character and like explore like their life growing up, or like a period of their life that defined them for who they are by the time we saw their introduction in the main series. And like I would love to see like a Team Stark series done after RWBY's finished.
I think we could all go for Team Stark anything at this point.
Yeah, seriously, it's like
character shorts. I would have been fine with one Stark short.
Yeah, like the World of Remnant idea I had. Like, hey, if you want to explain something and put in a short, like a story narrative, go for it. Yeah.
Like the bandit, make a short about
Oh
the
my
Bronwyn.
gosh, dude, I would love that so much, having a Bronwyn tribe video. Like, I just want to know what's the dynamic, and especially what had Crow say no, they're not family, and Raven say yes, they are family, and like why they had that divide.
Family, they're all extras.
Yeah, it's because from all what
they don't even have a campfire.
they don't even have a campfire.
All those bandits sitting around the campfire singing together, like singing the campfire song, and I will believe that they're family. I will believe Raven left her life for this.
And if you think they can't do it faster, then you're wrong. But like, why
faster will kill you?
Like, luckily for this guy, his semblance is singing as fast as you humanly can. But
except that when Weiss wakes up, they're like, if you fuck up a lyric, we're cutting your throat.
We're like, we know you're a professional singer. You're gonna sing, girl. But
just with all their captives.
Seriously, even Raven, who's supposed to be like their leader, you think that'd be like the parent figure for a bandit tribe? But she has been like the most
towns without my say.
Yeah, but also she's just like the most cut off from the rest of the tribe because she's just hiding out in her tent while everyone else is just kind of dicking around in the camp. So it's like,
no,
like if they're so important to her, why isn't she like socializing with them or interacting?
Shapeshift? Do they know about all the Oz stuff?
Beats me.
And great for world building. Like, what if the tribe was incredibly anti-Faunus and Raven keeps shapeshifting a secret for them because of that reason?
Oh, that would
no, I'm saying if they went that route.
Yeah, if they went that route, I know, but I'm just thinking like, oh, like that would have been a cool thing to learn about. I mean,
prejudice for once.
Yeah, maybe Volume 6, could kind of do that because we know it's still gonna have some focus on Raven.
A little bit late.
Yeah, no, it's late. I agree, but I don't know. Like
those humans are so bigoted. They made one of our people a headmaster.
Hey, I mean, so in psychology. I'm sorry, I keep bringing up psychology and bringing everyone to school, but we do learn that like everyone has their like what is it? They'll always take like one person from a minority that's like discriminated against and have them be like the token person that will be like, oh, this one person, they're okay for reason A or B, you know, but they're like, oh, but everyone else that they're a part of is bad, you know. And my textbook used
now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, my textbook used Obama as an example of like how some racist people would be okay with Obama, but just any other African American people, they're like, no, forget them, you know. So
still exist.
What?
Why do those people still exist?
I don't know. Like,
it would actually be very interesting for Lionheart's character and why he turned against Oz if he was just a diversity effort by the council.
Oh, like
that would be very interesting to see. Like if the people of Mistral actually hated him.
Yeah, but they gave him the job just for the sake, just to kind of like, oh, we're not against Faunus. Look, we gave a Faunus a headmaster position, kind of like that.
And that's why he hides his tail, because whenever he goes out, the people are like, oh, it's him.
Yeah, and you know, the Cat of Dan, he was in an interesting Twitter conversation about like Faunus clothing and like if people will sew in like secret pockets to hide a tail or any other animal parts to hide, you know? And I could see that being a common thing for Faunus who do not live in menagerie to like hide.
Yeah, even in Vale I can see that happening.
I mean, Blake did it. So
thing in the show.
Yeah.
Why is this not a fucking thing?
Yeah. I don't know. Like they make it like a really big deal, but then they don't like show it. Like the worst we've seen is like what happened to Velvet in Volume 1 with Cardin Winchester, who we know is just an all-around
Barely
dick.
counts.
Yeah, because he's just a dick to everyone. So it's like, well, you can't really say he's prejudiced because he kind of treats everyone that way, but yeah,
we need to see actual like people in authority and like people who would otherwise be likable showing this kind of stuff.
So like you said someone likable, so like maybe Ironwood? Because I would imagine
I can see him having tendencies.
Yeah. Because he lives in Atlas, which we know Atlas is very anti-Faunus rights, hence, like, the mines and, you know, the, like, not giving them living wages and, like, the story about Ilya's parents and how people reacted to the news and the mine collapsing on the Faunus. So
Ironwood would hate them, but I don't think he would be too keen on helping their cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel he would be very complacent in letting the status quo stay that way.
Yeah, and in a way that is a sort of discrimination to be complacent and just like know what's happening but doing nothing about it. In a way,
it's kind of worse because if you have the power to change it but you choose not to, that makes you kind of worse.
That's a very good point. I forgot he's a person in power, but so I'm just reading Kaido Dan's comment. He's like, Cardin equals Deech Canoe.
Where's the lie?
Yeah, no, there is no lie. Now we just need a canoe that's just named after Cardin. And just have
the canoe?
Yeah.
I really want to hit him with the canoe.
Yeah. Can we contact Cake and just be like, hey, Cake, is it possible for you to animate this pretty please? And just see if they do it? Do you know who Cake is?
Yeah, I know who Cake is.
Okay.
Like, I've seen their videos.
Okay, that's
just
good.
In Foreverfall, have this, like, river that's, like, also, like, pink, like the forest. Have a... with the canoe. Put the canoe in the water. Put Cardin in the canoe. And then send him downstream until there's a waterfall. And then just let him go.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Adam and all the other villains in that boat. And any other dislikable characters of the week.
Yeah. Just put Whitley. Whitley is being used as a paddle by Cardin.
Whitley the Shitley.
Seriously. Oh, also, Kaido Dan did say Ironwood has 2 seats on the council, and he hasn't used it for a whole lot of good, so yeah. I think
how do the councils work?
Politics? I don't know.
Oh, we don't even know the names of the council. Do these places have president?
Sorry, can you say that again? I heard presidents and then you cut off.
Kingdoms have presidents? Do the council members have policies? What is happening?
Are the headmasters presidents?
The sheriffs?
We know nothing.
But apparently the schools and the government are separate, even though they're not. Like,
at least in Atlas, maybe.
I'm so lost.
Is Atlas Utah where they have a real separation between school and government problem?
Atlas is the South, except they're in the North. So cool.
Oh gosh! Put Bakugo in the boat? How dare! I mean, early season Bakugo, sure, but
I
current
would put
Bakugo
in the boat.
Yeah, no, I'd put him in the boat, but I feel like he's earning his way off the boat.
He would explode the boat and then set the forest on fire.
That's how he gets out of the boat. Yeah.
I'm more concerned for the forest.
Yeah. Okay, so Luke Skywalker is saying, yeah, they need to explain the political landscape of the kingdoms a lot better in Volume 6 and future volumes. I feel like explaining the governments is a dangerous territory for RWBY. Because you already have part of the audience. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, one, people will be complaining, like, okay, you choose to do that now, but also there's, like, some people who complain because of Blake, there's already too much politics in RWBY.
Oh my god, fuck those people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm like, oh, come on. it's relevant, you know, and like
if we're focusing on an entire world, stuff like this is going to exist.
Yeah, it's like no one complained about Legolas and Gimli being racist against each other till they became friends.
Literally everything is inherently political just by existing.
Yeah. Gosh, like it's amazing to see like what people will like nitpick and complain like how dare Blake stand up for rights?
Dare the writers use their freedom of expression to do this? Yeah. I'm triggered.
She's a princess, despite us seeing her in tattered clothes as a small child at a.
Like I said, Blake changes depending on the scene.
Yeah. I mean,
I was an orphan last time. Oh, I actually have parents, and they're loaded.
Yeah. Did she ever say her parents were dead? I don't think she ever.
She didn't mention parents at all, I think.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if she kind of had like a falling out with her parents or had a guilt of like, you know, like not going with them when they left the White Fang, then I could
change her name.
She didn't. You're not wrong, but
if Gary is an important figure in like the political landscape of the world, how did no one notice Blake had the same last name?
Maybe
kind of similar.
What if it's a common last name like Smith?
Okay, let's go with that. How about if the White Fang was looking for her and they started looking at who's enrolled in the school and they're like, oh, Blake Belladonna.
You're not wrong. I mean, they did kind of show up for her, or I mean, they showed up for Cinder.
Scours the city. Ruby across the street shouts, "Blake Belladonna!"
you think they would have like a White Fang member in disguise somewhere who's like, oh hey, that's the girl Adam's been complaining about, always crying to himself late at night.
I'm a dog font.
Yeah, I'm a dog font. Wolf.
That guy don't dance. My name isn't Blake Belladonna, it's fake Belladonna.
Fake. Well, in volume 3, she changed it to Flake Belladonna. Because she flaked
considering
on the
she was barely in the first half of volume 3.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, she flaked out on the team by running away. You know, they're like, hey, let's meet up at the docks. You know, that's your safety spot. Well, that's kind of where everyone's fleeing, but... Yeah, my joke didn't land too well.
You tried.
It was Jean during the training test. You know, the emeralds.
You tried.
Yeah. I need a Pyrrha to just kind of pin me to a tree. Oh my gosh, no.
They're going.
Nope.
Oh no, I was just thinking you want someone to die for you.
Oh no.
Shot and incinerated.
Oh no. That's my favorite character. Best girl, no. Like, I went from, like, best girl pinning me to a tree to, she's dead. Thanks.
We'll never get to see her time skip outfit.
Really? You had me think... Gosh, dang it.
It would have looked so good.
It would have. Gosh, dang it. Dishwasher, fix this. Make a time skip outfit for Pyrrha. I almost said Blake.
The one to die in volume 4.
Yeah. Just
because apparently they really like killing gingers.
Yeah. But yeah, Adam's still alive.
Unfortunately.
The one ginger everyone wants dead, still alive. Dan's like, we'll always have fan art. Skir Wreath has an interesting opinion on who is best girl. He says Neo is best girl.
No.
She's the only consistently good female character in the show, and I hope they don't bring her back so she remains good for the rest of the series.
If she actually died that way, I'm going to hurt Miles and Carrie.
Yeah, and they kind of had a missed opportunity for an idea I had for her, and I guess now that the team's traveling again, they could sort of bring it back, but it'd be too late. I had a theory that Neo thinks RWBY killed Torchwick because, you know, the last time she saw Torchwick was with RWBY, and she probably got word that Torchwick is dead, so she probably assumed RWBY killed Torchwick, so she starts hunting RWBY down, and she's following Team Ranger as they're trying to get to, not Menagerie. Mistral, thank you. Dude, with homework assignments, I did fine. School tests, my mind blanked on stuff I knew. Anyway, yeah, while on their way to Mistral, Theo's hunting them down. Baby has a conflict. And then, in that conflict, RWBY kind of lets it leak, hey, I didn't kill Roman, he was eaten by a Grimm. And then Neo kind of was like, oh, well, the Grimm were kind of there because of Salem, so I'm going to go fight Salem. And kind of just be, you know, on her own, not teaming up with Team Ranger, but just kind of like, you know, they have the same goals,
sort of. She was actually partnered with the group, and she's just awkwardly brandishing her, like, machete in the corner.
Yeah, we got Renora cuddling in this corner, Mute Girl sharpening a knife over here. We're an interesting group. Oh, and then there's John just sitting in the middle crying over his scroll.
One of those parasols.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so cute, strolling down the street, murdering people with parasols.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, I really hope we didn't stoke a waifu war in the comments, because now people are just, like, shouting out their favorite things. Oh, Dan, good night. For Kaido Dan, it's like 3 in the morning for him, so bless your heart,
good
Dan.
Night.
Yeah. Good night. Dude, yeah, thank you for lasting as long as you did, Dan. Hearts.
Well, we've been going. Jesus Christ.
2.5 hours. Gosh,
how does this keep happening?
Do you want to cut the stream here? Because we totally could.
Any other questions you want to go with, or
I went through the whole list, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, we went through the whole list. I seriously just had like 5 questions, and we somehow stretched it out 2.5 hours, which honestly is a sign of a good VYTALcast, if anything.
Good. I hope the people enjoyed. And if you didn't enjoy it, we'll find you and kill your families.
Yes, totally. We will do that. Except for, please come back as a zombie around Halloween to watch my RWBY reaction video in the next VYTALcast.
We'll talk to some witches.
Yeah, you know one, right? When's the next state fair?
One that likes me.
Oh, gosh. Guys, thank you for watching. Thomas, thank you so much for guesting here on VYTALcast, and
no problem at all. Thank you for having me.
This has been a great conversation. Guys, if you haven't, subscribe to Unicorn of War, or subscribe to me if you came from him instead of me to him.
Children.
Yeah, and also, VYTALcast will not be happening next weekend. I will be gone at a convention, but there is some RWBY related content I will be making there, so hopefully it's worth it for you guys. And we will be returning on the 26th, right? Hold on, I need a calendar in front of me.
I think it would be the 26th.
Yeah, the 26th. There is someone who has told me they will be the guest on the 26th. And I'm trying to recontact them to be like, hey, buddy, it's been a few months since we talked about this date. Are you still available? And they haven't been replying. So I need to try to get in contact with them. And then I will announce them once I know. But yeah, I will be here.
I'm so glad I didn't stress you out.
Yeah. Oh, man. I've been trying to plan guests further ahead than usual, because sometimes it's like the Tuesday of the week. I'm like, hey, in a few days, do you want to be on my RWBY podcast? Or if you're Cal, I'll let you know like a few hours ahead. I'm like, hey, VYTALcast is live in 3 hours. You want to join? You have no life, right? You want to talk about RWBY? Anyway.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, she's been like the backup co-host for me. On like, hey, my normal co-host isn't here this week. Can you join me? They canceled last minute. So, yeah. Yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I always stretch out goodbyes by accident, but I needed to make sure you guys knew next week we won't have one, but the week after, the day before Volume 6, we will. So, bye.
Been a shit show.